Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream of some M&M. And even though it is a week before Halloween, we're not talking about the candy. We are talking about Monday Modern here at Galactic Toys and Games in Kenton, Michigan. I am Stephen Dykeman. I will be your commentator this evening. I'm actually alone this evening, as both of my co-hosts are going to be playing tonight, and we're actually going to get to watch one of them this round in Larry Fields. Looks like they're rolling the die here to see who's going to get to go first. And it would look like Larry lost that die roll. I didn't see exactly what his opponent rolled there, but I know it was more than a 4 because one of those die was on a 6. Okay. Now Larry is revealing Kahira the Orphan Guard, which means really one of two decks in the modern format. Larry could be playing Elementals, or he could be playing Blue-White Control. Now, I know what he's playing this evening, but I'm not going to spoil it for you all. We will see in a few moments what deck he is playing. If you know anything about me, you might be able to assume what he is playing, but we'll get there in just a second. I can't quite see what his opponent is on yet. It's looking like maybe some blue-red stuff. Not 100% sure, though. Larry, thinking about that opening hand. Is it good? Is it not good? I think he shifted. He did. Now, let's see here. They're both taking a mold to 6. Larry Fields on Elementals and Dan Staub on Living End. Well, there you go. So they're both taking a mold here. I think we need to reverse those names. I'm pretty sure those are not in the correct location there. Dan should be on the left side of the screen, and Larry should be on the right side. Now you all know that Larry is playing Elementals. And Elementals is a deck that mulligans fairly aggressively. So even though Elementals going down to 6 here shouldn't be a huge issue. Now I'm curious if Larry knows that Dan is on Living End, because that's going to really determine what kind of hand that Larry wants to keep in the matchup. Cards like Fury, cards like Solitude are going to be really sweet in this matchup, because being able to pitch them, evoke them quickly, get some value, and then bring them back to a Living End could be really cool. Endurance could be really good, obviously. And then, of course, Teferi, Time Raveler, is going to be a very key card in this matchup, especially if you can get it down on turn 2 off of the Utopia Sprawled land. So we'll kind of see what happens here. It looks like Larry's going down to 5. Dan, I think, settled with a 6. So Larry's going to check out his 5-card hand. Elementals is still, though, pretty good at mulliganing. I've had some really nice mulls on 4 or 5 cards. I believe it's a mulligan to 5, separating those 2 cards, making sure that those are the 2 he wants to get rid of. Thinking a little bit here. He decides. Here, there's a little bit of yep, he's getting rid of those 2. Okay. Who's on the play here? It looks, like I said, I think it was going to be Dan. Yes. Dan leads on Botanical Sanctum, passes over to Larry. Larry's going to draw that 6th card off the top. Larry's really going to want a Utopia Sprawl or something, and it looks like he is going to have a Sprawl, which is going to be huge. Can't imagine he'd be fetching here unless he had a Sprawl. And I don't hate just getting a Forest here if you're Larry. This plays around main deck. Fulminator Mage is out of the Living End deck. Probably not in the Living End deck. They haven't been doing that lately. So there's, sometimes you can't be too careful. The mana should be good with a Sprawl especially. You're going to be able to make your colors work pretty well. So he's going to name blue or white here, I would assume. Really depends on the contents of his hand. We will know shortly what that Sprawl has named. He's passed over. And Dan is going to end step cycle. Now that one, is a striped river winder, I believe, and that is the last threat you want to see living end cycle as elementals because that one is solitude proof, which is pretty annoying. Okay, Dan plays a Sunken Ruins. Larry did name blue. Okay, he's got a fetch land. Now, can we play a turn 2 Teferi here? That would be monumental. Risen Reef would be pretty good too, but we want a Teferi right here. Teferi would be huge game. He's resolving his fetch. And he's getting a Sacred Foundry. Makes sense. We've got blue, green, white, red now at our disposal here. Very good mana so far for Mr. Fields. And this is where we want it to ferry right here. And it's a Risen Reef, which is still good. Larry's going to resolve that trigger. And it would appear he hit a non-land because otherwise the land would be in play tapped. What is this going to be here? Cycling a Waker of Waves, which, if I remember correctly, looks at the top two and then puts one of them in your hand. Nope, maybe not. Maybe that wasn't a Waker of Waves. It was just 2 cycles, I guess. Curator of Mysteries and then something else. Now, if I'm Dan, I strongly consider just doing the living end thing right now. Nope. Because Larry could do some tricky stuff with like solitudes and things if you let him go to the draw step here. So, obviously it will remain to be seen what is in Larry's hand. But there is at least a Fury, which is pretty good. Hmm. Gonna be honest, I don't know when Larry drew the Fury. I don't know when Larry drew the Fury, but if he drew the Fury this turn, then it makes sense that he didn't already deploy it. But had he drawn it sooner, I would have liked to see him consider maybe just playing it already, because you could buy it back to the living end, which would be pretty sweet. And honestly, you probably even want to kill your own Risen Reef with it. Now it's going to be too late, assuming that Dan has a Violent Outburst to go get an instant speed living end. Because what Dan should do is if Larry puts any elemental on the stack, especially a Fury, he should just resolve the living end immediately. Larry in the tank about what to do here. He Furies, pitching an Omnath. Now, Dan should respond right now. There's no need to let this foolishness happen. Because if he lets the Fury happen, Larry can kill his own Risen Reef. Yep. And he's going to get a trigger that he shouldn't get from this Fury. Interesting. So what I'm assuming happened is Larry must have just drawn the Fury this turn. I'm thinking. Otherwise, this should have happened already. Okay, and Dan is at least going to put an end to this. He's not going to let that Fury hit the graveyard, which is good. Had he let the Fury hit the graveyard, he maybe could have found a way to still lose this game. But I think Fetch Shock here is going to mean a Violent Outburst for an instant speed living end, which should be quite good for Dan. Unfortunately for Larry, he mulliganed to a good turn 2 play, but it was not the correct turn 2 play for this matchup. Turn 2 Teferi is what you want in this matchup. Now, I do know Larry's list this evening is only playing 3 copies of Teferi Time Raveler, which I personally do not like. If I were playing elementals in this format, I'm always going to show up with 4 Teferi. I think it's just too good with decks like Living End, decks like Footfalls, Rhinos being super prevalent. You just need 4 copies of Teferi. The card's just so good. It's also so good against control. It's just a great card. Ooh, interesting. So Larry's going to bolt his own reef. Ooh, a force of negation on the bolt. That's really savage. I think Larry played this pretty well. It's just unfortunate that his opponent had force there. And Larry, yeah, Larry's going to pick him up. See, now I'm confused how a Waker of Waves plus the Sphinx entered the graveyard though on turn two. Yeah. Oh, so he put up. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. So our players are sideboarding here. The key thing for Larry, like I've said a few times, is going to be getting a turn two to Fairy would be ideal. He should be bringing in some Force of Negations here, maybe some Veil of Summers to counter his opponent's forces. Obviously, Endurance is going to be very good here. And for Dan, we'll kind of see what happens. We'll see what happens here for Dan. I'm not 100% sure what the living end player is going to bring in out of the sideboard here, but I do have some experience with elementals versus living end. I played against it at the last 5K and had a really really tight match. But if I'm Larry, I'm bringing in, like I said, the forces are coming in. I think he has two in his board. Those should both come in for sure. The endurances, I think there are a few endurance that should be coming in. If there are rest in peace in his sideboard this evening, those should be coming in. I'm not sure if those are in the board this week, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, Veil of Summer could be pretty interesting here too because the living end player is likely they're going to leave in the forces just to interact with Teferi and things of that nature. But not only are they going to bring in, are they going to potentially still have those forces? They might even bring in stuff like Mystical Dispute. You never know. So we will see. Tough game one there for Larry. We'll see if he can bounce back. Fellow Swish member down a game. Down a game, but I'm a little partial to Larry because he's playing my favorite deck. One of my favorite decks, at least. Death and Taxes might still be my favorite deck over Elementals in Modern, but it's pretty close. Key thing for Larry is going to be Utopia Sprawl on turn one. That's what he really would like to see here. Or if he had a Rest in Peace on turn two would be pretty great too. So, looks like our players are about finished with the boarding process here. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Dealing with a few technical things to get started. Get started with our evening. Okay. And as they shuffle up, Dan has a game lead here. Larry's going to try and bounce back. He needs to do just what he did in that game one, but have it to Fairy instead of Risen Reef. I mean, that was the difference. Now, obviously, we don't know when Dan had that force. It's possible Dan had the force the whole time, and if he did, there wasn't a ton Larry could do. But Larry is on the play this time. That will help greatly. The key for Larry will be do not keep a medium hand. You got to keep something that functions well. Larry should have taken out lightning bolts, prismatic endings, things of that nature. Those cards don't do much of anything in this matchup. Bolt, I guess, has some utility because it can kill your own things, but I still would not have it in my deck. There's the Utopia Sprawl. That's exactly how Larry drew it up. And he kept a 7 too, which is very key. All right. So I assume we're going to see a turn two Teferi coming. Yep. What is that? A grief? I think that's a grief. Grief exiling Street Rave. Okay. So Larry kept based on the strength of this Risen Reef. So Dan is definitely going to take the Reef. I can't imagine he takes a Solitude, but maybe he does. I don't know. It's awkward taking the Reef because that means later when you resolve a living end, the Reef will be back unless you do something to it like Fairy Macabre. You just take the Ephemerate? Interesting. That is not what I thought Dan would take. So Larry here is going to just try and slam this Risen Reef. I can't imagine we're doing anything else unless we drew exactly its fairy. Yep, Risen Reef. Does it resolve? It does. Trigger. Hitting a land or a spell. Must have been a spell because Larry's not putting it onto the battlefield. Okay. And Dan resolving his fetch. Putting a breeding pool into play untapped, I presume, so you can get a cycle on here. And again, if it's Striped Riverwinder, that is like perfect. That's exactly what you don't want to see. Okay. Curator of Mysteries is fine. That one's really easy to deal with both Fury and Solitude. So not one that Larry's going to be super worried about. We know he has the Solitudes in hand, so the Curator's not amazing. All right, so Larry's going to need a nice follow-up turn here. What is this? Another cycle? The glare is making it kind of hard to see that. It's a suspend. Oh, he's just suspending. What is this? Is that an ancestral vision? Oh, what is this? I'm trying to get some better. Oh, it's crashing footballs. Gotcha. Interesting. So we've got footfalls and living end in this guy's deck. Dan's really living by the cascade mechanic, I suppose. Oh, buddy. And you better have a counter, Dan. Oh my goodness. I don't think he does. That's barring something insane. That's probably going to be too much for Dan to handle, but you never know. Sometimes these decks play Fury. They play things that can deal with Fury, but honestly, Larry's just going to keep ticking that Fury up to not expose it to silliness like Fury. Brazen Borrower can bounce it, but then you can replay it. And can't do anything that's a speed either, which means that Footfalls in 3 turns is just not going to resolve if the Fairy's in play. So if you're Larry, it looks like he drew another land here. I think there's an island in hand, but I can't tell for sure. Larry's in good shape right now. This is where you want to be. You got a Risen Reef, you got the Teferi. I certainly see an island in Larry's hand, which should be pretty good for him. Okay. That's a little awkward. Larry getting a little greedy with this. Hopefully it doesn't punish him, but exposing the Teferi is pretty awkward. Because now things like I'm not sure if Dead Gone can target walkers. I'm pretty sure it can. I think it can go anywhere. But regardless, not an amazing play there with the Reef, exposing it to Fury, exposing it to things of that nature. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Larry's shocking himself. Oh, you know what? I think Larry has a Veil of Summer in his hand. There's no other real reason to make this play. He could have a Bolt, but I think it's going to be a Veil. Which probably isn't going to save the Teferi from anything because it will very likely get targeted by red. But who knows? Larry has a full grip of cards over there. He's looking pretty good. We know he's got the Solitude action, which will be very strong. All right, Larry looking to be in really good shape here. Untapping, going to get to tick that Teferi up again. Risen Reef, giving him all sorts of advantage. Coming across for 1 damage. Boom. 18-14, it looks like, are the life totals. What's this? An Omnath? That is an Omnath, and that's going to trigger the Reef and trigger the Omnath. So that's going to be draw 1, and then okay. It looks like he resolved the Reef trigger, then the Omnath trigger. Okay. Now he's going to play a land and get a trigger from that, from the Omnath. What land is he going to play? Is it a fetch? Nope, it's a Triome. It's gain 4 life, please. Larry should be going back to 18 as well now, I believe. So it should be 18 all, I think. What is this? 4 mana. Just a hard cast curator. Okay. Well, we have Solitude for that. So Larry's going to get to Solitude that off the board, trigger the Reef. This Footfalls is going to come off and get countered because Teferi's in play. I think we're pretty much wrapped up in this game, too. It'd be a huge surprise if Dan is able to recover from this situation. Yep. And that was where we could really see Omnath start going off, too, because Reef and Omnath together is pretty darn good. Get out of here, Sphinx. Did Larry resolve the Reef trigger? Hard to tell. There's a little bit of a delay for me there. Coming across for 5. 5 to Dan. I think that puts him to 17 if I'm doing the math correctly, but I believe Dan just went to 22 off the Solitude and then is taking 5, so should go back to 17. Could be wrong. Right now they've got Dan at 13. I think he's at 17 from the curator, but either way, doesn't matter. Dan just can't overcome this Teferi. Turn 2 Reef into turn 3 Teferi. A bit much without that counterspell. And so we are going to go to a game 3. Larry's been doing what he's needed to so far. Mulligan to Sprawl, put Sprawl on a land, and then play a 3-drop on turn 2. That's a lot of times against these busted decks, that's how you need to play elementals. You need to just mulligan to Utopia Sprawl because it leads to the explosive draws. And you need to have some explosiveness against decks like this. Now, you don't necessarily need to be crazy explosive against Living End because, you know, like we alluded to earlier, Solitude and Fury can do some pretty cool stuff. But you definitely don't want to keep anything that is not a pretty powerful hand. Otherwise, Living End will just kill you. And so, players getting prepared for game 3 here. Dan looks like he's reconsidering the boarding options. Fellow teammate Andrew Wolfeis is over here now.
What's up?
Eating some crackers.
You want one?
I'd love one, actually. Thank you, sir. How'd your round go? 2-0. Well, you all heard it here first. Andrew Wolfeis is 2-0. What are you playing today, Hammer? Robots. With Affinity. Yeah. Very cool.
Beat Jund Death Shadow.
Very, very cool. How's that matchup for Robots?
Not great.
Not great. Okay.
Not great. He cast a Void Mirror on turn 2, so I had to play around that the whole game.
Okay.
And for those who are familiar with or not familiar with the Affinity deck nowadays, it doesn't play many colored lands.
Yeah. That's fair.
It runs 11 artifact lands. So I had to play around the fact of Affinity for artifacts with Sojourner's Companion. But it cracked my Relic to go down to 6 artifacts, so then I could cast the Sojourner's Companion with red mana.
That's wild. That is wild. We got Larry going to game 3 here against Dan. Dan Stop. Both shuffling
Living
up.
End, huh?
Yep.
That seems like an okay matchup for elementals.
It's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
Because you can just evoke a bunch of elementals and then you just come back in and you get that reverse scenario.
Yep.
Any deck that can do that sort of effect historically has been a bad matchup for Living End.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan got him game 1. Larry mulled to 5 and kept a Risen Reef on turn 2 instead of Teferi on turn 2, and that was the difference. But then game 2, Larry was on the play, obviously. He kept a 7 with Sprawl. Played a Risen Reef on turn 2 into Teferi on turn 3. His opponent did not have counter. And that was pretty much all she wrote, really.
So is this? I'm assuming this living end is playing blue.
It is, yes.
So he's playing. Is he playing the snake?
Stripe Riverwinder, yes.
That's going to be clutch in this match.
That card's really annoying. Yep. That's exactly.
Larry doesn't have a good answer to that.
Yep, Larry doesn't want to see that one. You have to chump block that one a lot, which is awkward. You have to like block and then ephemerate your guy.
Even then, you're still not doing much. But Larry does have endurances, right?
Yep.
Those can reset a lot.
Yep, the endurances will be key. Looks like they're both shuffling up here. I don't think we've taken any mulligans yet.
Looks like Larry's going to 6 here.
He might be. Either that or he's just shuffling longer than his opponent.
I can't tell how many cards Dan's got based on him fanning his hand out.
Yeah. He'll definitely have.
You know how you can tell a person who's played way too much trading card games for too long? Being able to fan their hand out like elegantly.
Oh, yeah.
And quickly. Then put it right back.
Yep. All right, here we go.
Larry, he does that quite often. He can fan out.
Okay. Well,
can you fan out, Steven?
Not really, no. I can't do much. Dude, my dexterity is weak. Leaves a lot to be desired.
Gotta work on that.
All right. So Larry does have a reef in his hand. I can see that. But it's going to take more than a reef. It looks like there's an Omnath, a Cavern of Souls. Forest, yep. Sam looks kind of medium to me from what I can see.
You've played a lot of elementals.
Yeah.
Does it mulligan well?
It does mulligan very well.
Okay.
It does mulligan very well.
If you're playing in Larry's seat right this game, how aggressive are you going to be mulliganing?
Fairly aggressive. Larry has a sprawl in his opener, so I would have probably kept this hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to reef.
What are the key cards you look for?
Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl is a huge one, especially on the draw against a deck like Living End. Teferi in matchups where Teferi is really good, obviously.
Especially in Living End.
Yeah, yeah.
You get that down, the game's lock it up.
Obviously, Endurance is going to be a big deal here. Solitude, Fury, both pretty big.
Sprawl.
There's the Sprawl. Okay. Force and Negation is not too bad.
Not horrible.
It's a little awkward though because if they violent outburst on your he just forced the Sprawl. And you know what? That's a really good play.
I agree with that.
That's a really good play. Yeah, it makes me sick.
Yeah, any deck that is trying to play Utopia Sprawl, Arbor Elf, some mana dork, just stop it.
Yep.
Just tell them no, especially in Modern, because 3 mana is the clutch number in Modern.
Yeah, it was a really disciplined play from Dan. Really smart.
The Aven? I forget what the Aven is.
Yes, the Aven gives a thing flying when you cycle it. Grief. Good grief.
Pitching a Living End.
It's a pretty good use of a Living End in your hand.
Now, is it mandatory to discard? I'm unfamiliar if it's mandatory with Living
End. Now the question is, what is Dan going to take?
So if I'm Dan here, what's the only castable card?
Solitude.
Well, yes, but he would have to neg himself on that one. So I think Risen Reef's the only.
He would, but then it'll come back from Living End. So I think, I think that's fine. I think I like
that one. It's either the Risen Reef or the Solitude.
Yeah. If you don't take the Solitude, they're going to potentially get to Solitude you twice, which is, I guess they'd only probably get to do it once, but I think I'm in to take the Solitude there.
I agree, because if he is able to fill his graveyard up fast enough and just get a really quick Living End, I'm okay with my opponent getting 1 Solitude.
Yep.
That's fine. Especially because I'm going to be able to grief him again.
Yeah, that was a really smart play from Dan. The countering of the Sprawl was very heads up. Now it looks like he's going to make another cycle here. Now he does only have a couple cards in hand because he has discarded to Grief and he has discarded to Force. So the question is Dan going to be able to hit that 3rd land drop and do the Living End thing, or did Dan keep kind of a more reactive hand that wasn't going to be as quick? So we're about to find out. Okay, cycle.
And those who have not, I've played Living End a little bit here and there. I dabbled with it.
Yeah.
it's okay to keep a hand that doesn't have
Yeah.
a Cascader. I would rather keep a handful of Cyclers.
Right,
than
because
a
you'll find
Cascader.
it. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like Dan hit the third land here, so Larry might be in some big
Yeah, I
trouble.
believe he's got 2 cards in hand. He did do a fresh cycle.
He did,
Untap,
yeah.
so
I have a feeling we're going to see Shardless Agent here.
Regardless Agent is just so good at Modern.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a beautiful one too.
Cascade.
Bang, bang.
And
bang.
Larry kind of looks like he's F6'd.
Larry's got that look of a man who's just been had.
Yeah.
And he was had.
Now, does he have force? Does he have his own force? No. Okay.
Or endurance.
Endurance would be nice as well. But Solitude is coming back, so the game's not over. But Dan is certainly ahead.
How many creatures?
4?
3. That's a low count.
Okay, that's not that many.
More. There's an Aven in the yard. Why is the Aven not coming back?
Is that what Larry decided to hit with Solitude? I don't know. Okay, he missed it. He just missed it. Yeah, good catch. Okay, so if you're Larry,
you snap off the Sphinx.
Yeah. I think you are correct.
Curator of Mysteries. I believe it also says if you cycle, every card you cycle, you scry.
Yes.
So I believe that triggers before which is key for Dan here because he could, if he sees one way Living End dies is if it cycles into its living ends.
Yep.
So by having a curator, you can kind of just tutor up everything.
So Grief gets to hit again, and it hits the Risen Reef, which is a good play. Larry needs to draw an Ephemerate yesterday.
So how much power do we have coming through that Larry can't block?
Larry cannot block. You're correct. Larry cannot block then 11 of it.
I believe the Aven. Oh, Grief is a 4/3. No, it's a
3/2.
3/2. I think it's 10 damage you can't block. I think the Aven's a 3/2 as well.
Oh, is it really? I thought it was a 4/4.
No, the Curator is definitely.
I know the Curator's a 4/4. I think Aven is also a 4/4. Let's get some confirmation on that. I'm pretty sure it's a 6-mana 4/4. Let's see though. We're gonna look it up.
It's no Riverwinder.
It's definitely not a 5/5. All right, Aven. It's a 4/3.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4/3. We were both mistaken.
I was one short on the stats. Okay.
We both were. I thought it had one more power or one more toughness, and you thought it had one less power.
Not good.
Okay, so Larry had to do that, which is obviously not great. Oh,
I like this play.
I do too, actually. Larry.
Oh, I don't like this play.
Yeah, no, this is not a good block. That's not a good block.
Larry is absorbing some damage here. So basically, Larry's taking 8, going to 11. However, by doing this, if you played the Kahira next turn,
we attack for 4.
Attack for 4, gain 4, and then Shardless can't attack anymore, and we can double block the Grief.
And we give ourselves the out of Ephemerate off the top.
And you have to snap off if they double block Grief. You snap off the Kahira.
Yeah,
like, the Kahira is more of the problem than the Solitude is.
Yeah, you also don't necessarily want the Solitude in the graveyard if you have to Living End again later.
No, you gotta.
So,
when you're playing Living End, you always gotta plan for the second Living End.
But we'll see if Larry can find his way out here.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
we need it coming down.
Omnat's come down. We need another Solitude or something. A Fury. We need something. Larry's down to 9. Larry is dead on board right now. He needs a free elemental. Let's draw a card.
Maybe he has it already.
Maybe. He might. Is 2 unknowns. Okay, Larry has another Solitude in his hand, I think. Or is he just bluffing? Hard to say. Yep, he was just bluffing. Just bluffing. He had he drew the Force too late.
Oh, unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate indeed.
Living has a sick deck, though.
It is, yep. It was a really good read. The Force by Dan on turn 1 was very critical for that game. And
actually, Living has been seeing a huge uptick in popularity recently.
That's a good deck.
I know a lot of content creators are posting about how they really enjoy it, really like it.
Yeah.
Because Graveyard hates it a low right now.
It is. It is.
Artifact hates at a real low. So
I'm skimping a little bit on it this weekend.
Yeah.
With the SCG as well.
See maybe Dredge make a recurrence.
You definitely could.
Living End, of course, is always like we're talking about it right now. People are skimping on it, so it's a good option.
Yep.
But if I was to take just one of the big graveyard decks to a tournament, I think I would take Dredge.
Yeah.
I think Dredge is the superior graveyard deck. I think it historically has been. I know Living End has a lot of cute new toys, but Dredge has a better consistency.
Yeah, I could buy that for sure. And it seems like
and it's hard to sideboard with dredge because you have to take out the cards that enable you to go off.
Yeah, very true. What's kind of interesting too about dredge is one of the reasons I think it kind of fell out of favor was the popularity of the 2-mana double white creature, the 2/2. I forget the name of the card. Ariok and or no, Sanctifier and Vec. Sanctifier and Vec.
You shall be sanctified.
Oh.
Yeah, Sanctifier and Vec, and that's well, Hammer is still pretty popular right now. I think it's the number 2 most played deck, maybe number 3.
Is it okay?
Maybe number 1, but I don't think it's number 1 anymore. But over the weekend at NRG, a lot of Hammer.
Good.
A lot of control.
That's great. That's what I like to hear.
For elementals.
It is. Yep.
And if Hammer is really good, that means Living End is really good. Because Living End doesn't play a lot of black cards, they play a lot of blue cards.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Where Dredge has to focus more on black.
Right. Yep. So that Sanctifier doesn't do much against Living End really at all.
Yep.
Very
powerful
cool
card. Very powerful card. Sanctifier Invec's a little absurd.
Very good card.
Almost cracked in half.
Almost busted.
It's almost Rest in Peace 2.0.
Yeah, but that was a tight match there. Both players played a good clean match for the most part.
I think the only misplay that game.
That block
was bad.
Block was loose.
Because let's see, he takes 11 there. Or excuse me, he takes 13 there.
Yeah.
He's going to 6.
Then he plays Kahira, attacks for 4, goes to 10.
He's still dead on board.
Is he?
Yes. Because he has a double, because Grief is Menace.
True. So 10 plus the life gain though, right? So you go back to 4? Don't you go to 4 on that?
He will take on that turn he blocked and gained 3.
Yeah.
So he was
so it would have been a 5 point. It would have been a 5 point difference.
You got the 4 flyer, the Curator, the Grief, that's 11. Then 13 from the Shardless. Which is 6. Next turn.
Play Kahira, attack for 4, go to 10.
You're right. He would have survived.
Yeah.
He would have survived.
Because you gain
because
the +1 yeah, exactly. Correct. The vigilance, yes.
I always forget about that. Secret text.
Yep. Secret text.
And then Dan can't attack with the Shardless.
Right.
He has to attack with, because if he attacks with Shardless, then you just block with the
you just let the Grief hit
Solitude.
you. Yeah.
And you just take all the rest of it.
Yeah, and then you attack for 4, gain 4, rinse and repeat.
7.
Oh yeah, you're right, because the Kira swings in too. Yeah. So yeah, you actually have to just keep the Shardless back. Solera would have 1 more turn, which could have been the difference, honestly, because the next turn, actually, then you can play Omnath.
I think it's more than 1 turn because like you're saying, he gets to he goes to 6.
Yes.
Blocks, he can double block the Grief.
Yep.
They're going to kill the Kahira. If they don't kill the Kahira, then
you still have Solitude.
That's fine. You still The key is letting Omnath stick in play for a turn so you get the land.
So you can gain a bunch of life.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think Larry cost himself minimum 1 turn.
Yeah.
Possibly match.
And with elementals, you never know because the deck just goes off so fast. It just can really spiral.
We all saw that when you beat Tron.
Right.
When I was screaming into the void, pick up your cards, Steven.
Right.
And then subtlety. Whew.
Yeah. Whew. Hey, I'm gonna miss that one this weekend, but I'm playing Obsidian Charmaw instead. So
you're a monster.
I'll do some other broken things against Tron players. I guess.
I'm a big fan of subtlety.
I am too.
You're betraying him.
I am too. It's because I gotta play the Charmaws, man. We gotta blow up their lands. Just gotta end the game. Let's end the game early on them.
Stevie, I'm one of the guys who likes to shuffle cards around the table.
Me too, dude. Me too.
I turn my thing sideways a lot, but if I'm not turning them sideways, I'm just moving cards around the table.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I think we are going to take a little break. That is the end of round 1 for us. We will be back shortly. Probably 15, 20 minutes for round 2. See you then.
How we do, Dan?
I drop.
I think we're good now. All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to Monday Night Modern here at Galactic Toys in Kentwood, Michigan. I am Steven Dykman, and now alongside me is fellow teammate Daniel Wharton. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm joining because I got bopped in the last round, so I decided to drop and join the coverage.
You
here.
got bopped.
Yeah.
What deck beat you in round one, Dan?
It was Infect. Infect with 8 Infect creatures. There's nothing wrong with having a budget version, and if you're gonna build a budget deck in Modern, dude, Infect is a good way to go.
Budget Infect, and obviously you had a great finish this past weekend at NRG. You lost in the finals.
I did
of the modern event, yeah. And you were playing Mill,
right.
And you played Mill again tonight, right?
I did, yeah.
And it turns out when your opponent is playing a budget deck with no fetches, they don't thin their deck, which is already annoying for Mill. It means that's more cards that you have to mill, obviously. And then you, like you were saying right before we hopped on the cast, you can't cast an archive trap if somebody's not searching their library. And it's kind of hard to Field of Ruin somebody that doesn't play non-basic lands.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. A lot of dead cards, not really much to bring in. I mean, I brought in some Spell Pierces, but other than that, not much to be had. But it looks like they're
rolling some dice, and it looks like we've got a fellow Swish member that looks like Andrew to me. The khaki pants. Oh yeah, that's Andrew.
100%.
That's a man that came from work right there.
He's got the little companion token and everything.
He's got those beautiful Swish Gaming sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. I know he was actually over here a little while ago talking at the end of round one about how he is playing Affinity, robots. And so the Gigantha, I think, is kind of just there as a little extra oomph that his deck can play, which is kind of cool. Now, his opponent... Not sure what his opponent's playing yet. We'll figure that out soon. Danny will get that up for us. Looks like there might be a swamp there. Really hard to tell just looking at the bottom card while somebody's shuffling from this angle. I think it's going to be a black-based deck, though. I think I see swamp. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, Andrew, very, very strong player. Very good with affinity-style decks especially. So it'll be fun watching him go at it here. He was actually, last week, I think it was, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we got to commentate over someone else playing Affinity, which was kind of funny. And now he gets to play Affinity, which is cool.
I was just thinking about the Jinggatha, the companion.
Yeah.
If I saw that, I would think Tron.
I would think Tron too, actually.
So
I would not think Affinity at all.
So, you would keep the opposite hands, right?
You kind of get people.
Wrong hands.
Yeah, you can kind of get people by playing that companion. That's kind of one cool thing about playing companions, too. Is that sometimes if you're playing a companion in a deck that usually doesn't play the companion, and it's in other decks, that can be beneficial for you. Because people think you're playing something else. It looks like Andrew seems content with his 7. His opponent, however... Hard to tell. Taking his time for sure. Kind of holding his cards quite close to himself. I can't see his hand or anything. Not sure if he's going through his deck or what's going on here.
I think it's a mulligan.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Joe Castro, and he's playing Infect. I wonder if... Or Jose. I bet you that's Jose. Yep. Anyway, is this the guy you lost to?
I can't tell.
Okay.
I do think the green sleeves. Yes.
The green sleeves.
I think that would be funny.
The Infect sleeves, dude. Funny enough, Infect typically had a pretty good Affinity matchup back in the day, but if you're playing budget Infect, I don't know. I'm not sure if that stays the same. I know Infect used to play like Viridian Corruptor and things, which to be fair, is a very budget card, so there could definitely be 2 or 3 copies of that in the sideboard for Jose, and there really should be, honestly. It's a pretty good card.
It wouldn't surprise me if he had it. He seemed to know about the archetype. He'd done his research. He knew that Noble Hierarch is what you needed and not Gilded Goose.
Yeah.
But,
is he playing Gilded Goose?
He is playing Gilded Goose.
God, dude.
Gilded Goose.
Holy moly. Wowza.
We'll see if I'm actually right and this is him.
That's awesome, man. Forest, go. Oh, it's Blighted Agent on turn 2, dude. I'm feeling a Blighted Agent on turn 2.
Does Andrew have removal and
He does. He has Gal Blasts.
All right.
I think he has Gal Blasts. Now, are they in the main deck? I don't know. I think they are, though.
No plates besides the Wielding Jar.
Here it comes. Yavimaya Coast.
Oh, he did have a
yes. Painlands. He just passed. It's kind of awkward.
What kind of hand did he keep? I guess he was.
Maybe he still kept. Maybe he did keep a Blighted Agent hand, but he's afraid to play it into removal, and he has a Blossoming Defense.
That's possible.
I could buy that. Well, Andrew just Frogmite into play, Cranial Plating into play, Ornithopter into play. Andrew getting all over that table. All right, here we go. And this is it. This is going to be a Blighted Agent, I think, folks. There it is. So I guarantee you he has a Blossoming Defense in his hand, no question.
100%. He also had Vines of the Vastwood, so that's a possibility.
Yep. So he played this very well. I actually like the patience from Jose, and he's just going to try winning the game next turn. If he has scale up, he'll have a good chance to win. Andrew doing some artifact math here. Definitely doesn't have lethal yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's an attack for 8 if I'm doing my math right. All right.
Looks like 8 to me.
Looked like 8. Went from 19 to 11. The ping off the pain land.
The 4th land.
Yep. 4th land could be +4/+4 on a groundswell. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, there's scale up.
Kills through a Galvanic Blast if he's got it, which he almost certainly does here.
All right. Are you going to kick a Vines for lethal? Blossoming.
Okay.
So that's...
I think he has it.
Oh, baby. This Jose character, man, he shows up with some infect. Yep.
That'll be it.
That's main phase, baby. Okay. Jose Castro showing up with some budget infect and just... He steamrolled you last round, and you just made it to the finals of an NRG, and now he's taking on our Affinity Aficionado and Andrew Wolfeis and just rolls him. I mean, this wasn't even close. He just played an infect creature with protection, and then won the game the following turn. Maybe infect's actually a good deck right now. Who knows? Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, but man, it's good at doing what it does.
I think it's good in our meta. I don't know how many people are playing Dragon Rage Channelers and Lightning Bolts around here.
That's true. That's true.
That's probably what would keep it down if you guys are at an online metagamer.
Yeah, very true. Also, I don't know that it would be very good against like elementals either. Solitude and Fury seem kind of annoying for it. Just free interaction seems kind of annoying.
I think he's had pretty good matchups tonight. I don't know how. I feel like the Modern's like kind of heavy on removal right now, to be honest.
It's higher than it normally is, yeah. Higher than it's been in the past. For sure. There's a lot more interacting going on right now than, say, like a year and a half ago before some of the bannings.
I don't know. This is the kind of deck that can beat a deck with 4 removal spells like this one, obviously.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's
dominate it.
It's the control decks that have all removal that really bother it.
Right.
But, I don't know. Elementals, you said, like, when the spell is free, like, it's hard to play around.
Yeah, and 3 minutes of Fairy is a real pain for Infect as well. Huge pain.
I assume Elementals would love to see Infect across.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Typically, any aggressive creature deck is good for Elementals. You love to see aggressive creature decks.
So what did Andrew bring in? Any ideas?
I'm going to assume that Andrew might have a little bit more interaction, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to have much for this matchup. I can't imagine. We'll have to see.
I don't know a whole lot about his sideboard.
I don't think he has much more spot removal. I really don't.
Yeah,
he might have brought in...
He's used to many people going faster than him, you know?
Yeah, it's rare. It's really rare. But this would be really cool for Jose to pick up 2 wins on 2 Swish members 2 rounds in a row. And this one on camera.
Yeah, no kidding. Andrew has to play this game, though, so...
And on a big props to Jose for not just running out the Blighted Agent on turn 2, because a lot of Infect players, man, they would just slam it on turn 2, and it would die, and they would lose the game. Jose was more patient than that. He said, no, I'm going to wait. My opponent doesn't have a quick enough clock on me. I can afford to waste turn to protect. And he won the game because of it. So, like you said, seems to be a student of the archetype.
Yeah, no kidding. Who knows? Maybe at some point here he'll be able to, get the rest of it.
I mean, if he performs like this, it's a darn good start. If he can 4-0, it's $20 or whatever. That'll get you a breeding pool.
Yeah, no kidding. That's halfway to an Inkmoth Nexus.
Yeah, yeah.
Just telling me that Inkmoth is supposed to be the best card in the deck, or the best creature in the deck, and is it not Bladed Agent? I'm not sure.
I would say it's Bladed Agent. I would always say it's Bladed, just because you don't have to invest any mana. It's unblockable. Like, if you untap with a Blighted Agent, you win the game a lot.
Very
a lot. Hey, it looks like a mold of 5.
Can't hear me.
Apparently I was a little louder, so we're going to move the mic, and hopefully that sounds a little better. All right. We'll have to wait for some confirmation from Danny to see if hopefully the volume's a little better now. Okay, and Jose, I think on a mulligan to 5. Just looking for that busted Blighted Agent nonsense again. This is definitely one problem of not playing Inkmoth Nexus, is you're playing 4 less creatures in your deck, so you're gonna have to mulligan more.
Yeah.
He's essentially playing Boggles. Like, if there are no Viridian Corruptors, you only have those exactly 8 creatures to hit. And if you don't hit them, your deck doesn't do anything.
There's the 2-mana one that gets +2/+2, right? The artifact.
Oh, you're right, Ecor Mirror.
I wonder if he has any of those in the sideboard to.
You should probably just play them, yeah. If you're not playing Inkmoth Nexus,
just play
you need
12
more.
in the main.
Yeah, I agree. They should probably just all be in the main and then some Viridian Corruptor side or something. But yeah, you're right. When you don't get to play Inkmoth, you gotta do something.
Yeah. What are the other options? So there's that one. There's the one that regenerates. I don't know if that's better. The Blighted
Mamba. Blight Mamba. Yeah, that one actually might be better. The upside to Ecor Claw is that if your opponent tries blocking it, it gets pumped.
Yeah. So what would
Which could matter if you give it Trample with Rancor or something. I don't know if they're playing Rancor these days.
See, I just don't think regeneration works too well because you can, like, if you ever wanted to activate it, they could just, like, kill it before combat and then it would be tapped. Right?
Yeah, that's
so,
the
like,
awkward thing about Regenerate is
ability...
putting a Regeneration shield on creatures is awkward if you're trying to be aggressive, for sure. All right, so Jose took that mulligan to 4, I believe, and Andrew leading on a vault. Okay, into Urza's Saga. And here comes Andrew out of the gate here. What are we doing? Cranial Plating. Actually kept a pretty slow hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Andrew, I guarantee you, has like some Gal Blast or something going on in there. Man, Jose, this is not great.
I think Jose is pretty far behind at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's going to go Blue Land Blighted Agent here, but okay, there was the Blighted Agent off the top. It's a forest, though. The Gilded Goose.
That's the blue mana you need.
The Goose.
Does Andrew know it, though?
Oh, my God. Andrew's a pretty sharp dude. I think he'll figure it out. Is he going to make another? Yep. So Andrew here, trying to just rush damage.
Yeah. Tapping out while he still can, you know?
Mm-hmm. No reason not to right now. Spring Leaf Drum come into play. Let's get some more mana. I like that. Get another artifact, get more mana.
Yeah, he gets to mount a pretty unbeatable board here without deploying any cards from his hand.
Yep.
So it's pretty nice.
It is. Okay. So Andrew's going to get a crash for like, at least like 7. Oh, he's going to crypt the... Yeah, that's a lot. That's huge. That's a big time attack. That's going to be about 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's just 8.
Is he swinging with both constructs?
He tapped 1 for mana.
Oh, okay.
Is Vault an artifact? I can't remember.
Is, yeah.
Oh, so that was an attack for 10. Got it. Pretty good. Funny enough, though, that food from Gilded Goose could represent some life. Oh, never mind.
No.
Blighted Agent.
Blighted Agent coming in.
Well, that's going to be a little late there, Jose.
It's going to do some blocking, probably.
That's what I want to do with Blighted Agent, is block.
Yeah, all of his pump spells are only going to be able to give +2/+2 anyways, so...
Yeah, this is really bad news. Really bad news for Jose. And that is a Signal Pest, I believe.
Indeed.
Yep. Okay. And so I think we're going to be going to a game 3 here. Andrew just sending. Yep, sending both. Might as well force the block. Jose. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That'll probably about do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be very difficult for Mr. Jose to win this game. I think we're definitely going to another one. And that's a thought monitor. Let's draw some cards. Andrew just rubbing it in at this point. And just more, just another artifact land, a 0-drop, another, oh, gosh. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Just giving us
thought
a
monitor,
here,
another
dude.
0-drop. Andrew said, hold the phone. In fact, let me show you how to play an aggro deck. Who needs pump spells when you can just play 0-mana 1/1s?
Jose gonna
go into the tank and think about how he cannot win this game anymore. And we are going to go to game 3. He's passing. I appreciate the.
Like maybe he won't swing. Maybe he'll get scared.
Yeah, maybe.
Watch him fog.
Make a food. Yeah, a fog would be something. And in fact, actually, sometimes I can't. No, it was.
It could be. It's a possibility.
Boggles used to play fogs in the board sometimes for Infect specifically, but I don't think Infect has ever really played fog. Another plating. Andrew's just.
He won't go to combat.
He just wants to slam with idiots, and here it comes. Yep. Plating there. Bam. Wham. Bam. Can you beat this, Jose? No, you can't. We're going to the next game. Thank you very much. Jose needs to open up mulligan to 4 this time. That was pretty unfortunate for him. But again, like we were talking about, when you're playing that budget list, and if you only have 8 creatures to hit, you're not that high odds to hit one. And not only do you have to hit a creature, you also have to have the other assortment of things that work with it, right? You have to have the creature, plus some pump spells, plus lands. So it can be kind of awkward if you're only playing 8 threats.
Yeah, that's a good point. Some of those hands that have the infect creature are going to have to mulligan because it has 6 lands with it.
It's going to suck otherwise. Yeah, it's going to... Maybe it won't have lands. Maybe it will have, yeah, like you said, 6. Classic ABC deck. You need piece A, piece B, and piece C. In this case, piece A would be the creature that has infect. B would be the pump spells. And I guess C would kind of be like mana acceleration, or just mana in general. All right. Well, here we go. They shuffled up very quickly. They are ready to rock and roll. So here we go. Game 3 about to get started.
All right. 2 lands, Gilded Goose, Blighted Agent, Scale Up, Groundswell, and Blossoming Defense.
Blossoming Defense.
That's what we're looking for here.
Well, he's got a Forest, a Yavimaya Coast. Oh, boy. He kept a 7. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do we have the turn 1 kill, or the turn 2 kill? Scale Up Groundswell or Might?
If he does it, oh.
Okay, Andrew.
He might have a blocker.
Andrew's alive. Oh.
No.
Andrew. What on earth?
Dude,
is that 7 cards? What the heck was this? That is degeneracy. Oh no. Oh no, he miscounted. Okay, right. But he still has Midnight block. Still has Midnight block. Okay. That's the key thing here. I'm pretty sure the regeneration shield won't do anything, though, because of poison counters. Right. Another elf. Okay, that doesn't really do... Yeah.
I'd probably trade a pump spell here. No, he doesn't want to.
Means he might have Blossoming Defense.
Right.
I can respect it if you have Blossoming. Another Ornithopter. Good lord, man.
So here comes that thought.
What is this? This is degeneracy. He still can make an idiot, too. With the Urza Saga, because he still has 3 mana. He still has the Ornithopter with a drum.
I wonder if he has anything that can give his creature unblockable, like...
Distortion Strike?
Yeah, slip through space.
Yep.
Those are the 2, I think.
Yep, those are the 2. Both have their merits. One of them draws a card, and then one of them obviously gives a little bit of power and also has rebound.
Probably the Distortion Strike's a little better.
I think it is too. I think the pumping the power and getting to do it twice is a big deal.
Yeah, Now, if he doesn't have a way to get his guy through, this one's gonna be over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jose is toast. Jose needed it
The
there.
construct's pretty large.
Yeah, the constructs are way too big. We need that distortion strike effect, or this game is going to be over. Rancor wouldn't even do it because constructs are just so huge, so massive. And what are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 9/9s at the moment, and that's before this Urza Saga resolves. So they will be 10/10s in a moment here. And that's a Ginger Brute. Ginger Brute. Andrew loves that one. His favorite. We call him the Ginger Brute on the team. And there it is. The Ginger Brute. Played by the Ginger Brute. All right.
Well, he's definitely having some fun over there.
Yeah, he is.
Not done. Oh, lifelink. More importantly, trample, probably.
Yeah, I agree.
What does that one do?
Yeah, can I read that, please?
Remember that hexproof you were talking about?
Spell Pierce.
Oh, he can interact.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 11-ish.
And if
Maybe
Jose
14.
doesn't have something absolutely insane here, this game is over. It's a land drop and 2 cards in hand, 3 cards in hand. There's no combination of cards. I don't think they can win it here. It would have to be Distortion Strike plus, like, Might of Old Krosa. Is this a Viridian Corruptor? It is.
Yep.
Not quite good enough, folks.
Takes down the welding jar.
Yeah.
After regeneration.
Takes down the welding jar. And so Andrew just going to swing house here. This is easy. Easy. Slam them. Send them, baby. That is just sickening.
He can live with the double block, right?
He can. He can
Yep.
technically survive. We can technically watch one more turn of this game.
Yeah. At the minus
Good-
1 encounters on
Good
those
effort from
constructs.
Jose. Good effort from Jose. He almost took down 2 Swish members in a row. Game 1 was promising. But Andrew really just, this game 3 hand was so explosive. And unfortunately for Jose, he didn't have a Blighted Agent hand. He needed a Blighted Agent to beat this draw. And he did not have it.
Gilded Goose was not doing it.
No, not doing it at all. So that was a fun one. That was a close match. The Mold of 4 for Jose really sucked in game 2, but like we said, some of that is just how the deck is constructed probably. It's just obviously not ideal. In fact, already has to mulligan a fair amount anyway because of the way the deck functions. And then when you play a budget list like that, if you're only playing 8 threats, you're really, really hurting the odds of having those threats in your opener, having a hand that functions the way you want it to. So, good try for Jose there. Good luck to him in the next couple rounds. Hopefully he can get a 3-1, start making some money to build towards maybe a more optimal build.
Yeah, a few more infect creatures. Particularly one that's a land.
Yep. But looks like Andrew had that Etch Champion, pretty sure it is. Some Etch Champion action. Haven't seen those in a while. Thank God that card's annoying for if you're playing colors. Didn't get to see Giganta come up. I don't know how often Giganta will come up in this deck, but kind of cool that it's the companion nonetheless. Just that 8th card that you can
Definitely
put
not in a matchup like this where they're just racing.
Yep. Well, that was pretty quick. I think, though, folks, we are going to go to break for about 25 minutes or so, and then we will be back for round 3. Thank you so much for watching. See you in about 25 minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 3 of our Monday Night Modern here at Galactic Toys and Games. I am Steven, accompanied by teammate and not podcast partner, stream video partner here this week, commentary partner, Dan Wharton. How's it going, Dan?
It's going good, second round of commentating ever, it's been fun.
Yeah, dude.
It's a good time. We got to see an interesting match last time, but we'll see what they have dialed up for us this time.
Yes, the same guy that beat you in round 1.
Yeah,
out here with budget. In fact, almost took down another Swish teammate, but Andrew Wolthice was able to barely squeak by, winning a close, well, not really close at all, if I'm being honest. Games 2 and 3 were kind of a blowout, but game 1, Andrew got kind of steamrolled. So it was an interesting match, to say the least. But here we are in round 3, about to start it up here. The players sitting at the feature match table, shuffling up, getting ready. I don't think we have a Swish member here this time. I think 2 non-Swish members, which will be cool. It'll be nice getting some new faces on camera here. Some new decks, maybe. There's a Luris being revealed here. There's the Luris over there in the companion area. We have another companion over here. Now, I'm just going to make a guess right here. Mono red sleeves, that's a burn player right there. That is a burn player. Someone is casting some lava spikes and lightning bolts, and it's the dude with the red sleeves. I'm calling that right now.
I mean, it seems likely, because I've never played burn and I've never played red sleeves. So
That's fair. I have played burn a lot.
What else would bring you to want to have the red sleeves? I don't know.
That's fair. I played a lot of not red sleeves when I played burn intentionally, because I never wanted the person to just assume I was on burn because I had red sleeves. All right. Shuffling up still. So we've got a Luris deck on one side of the screen here, on the bottom portion of the screen. So it could be any number of things. Probably about 3 or 4 different decks, right? We've got Hammer Time. It could be Hammer Time. It could be Mill. And it could be a variation of Death Shadow.
Don't forget all the Ragavan decks.
Yeah, all the Ragavan decks too. Usually Shadow goes with the Ragavan decks, but you're right. It could actually just be Jund Sagavan.
Yeah,
Jund Sagavan.
Is the black-red deck still played?
Not really, but it could be that deck. Yeah. You're not wrong, and that was not a Death Shadow deck.
On my sideboard guide for this weekend, I had the percentage chance of what, according to MTG Goldfish, of what Luris meant. And it was it's something like 50% it's going to be like a black-red X type of deck.
Yeah,
it's
that makes sense.
10% Hammer, 3% Mill, and then other,
That's pretty cool.
So,
all right, it's Kyle Gonzalez on Jeskai Humans versus Nathan Cainstay, Jund Luris. I lied. We do have a teammate, and it's Nathan Cainstay on Jund Luris. So Jund Sagavan versus Jeskai Humans. Now, Kyle's been playing Jeskai the last few weeks, but it's been Jeskai Phoenix. So it'll be interesting to see what Jeskai Humans looks like.
Actually, no. Do you want me to spoil it?
You can spoil it. Yeah, what are we going to see?
He was sitting next to me, so he's just got kind of like a Shockland mana base around a kind of a regular human shell, but he's cut the black cards, and he's playing Imperial Recruiter, and is just kind of red-white. I'm not sure what I don't remember exactly
Manus Rider?
What blue card he has, but that would make sense alongside Reflector Mage, maybe.
Manus Rider, Reflector Mage, Phantasmal Image.
Possibly.
Probably Meddling Mage still too, right?
Yeah, I would think that.
Meddling Mage is just so crucial, especially if you're cutting the black. You need it even more than usual. 6.
So I've been thinking about playing humans again, because I played humans for a while, and I the card that I really was most attractive to me was Reflector Mage, just for bouncing the dragon, the blue dragon.
I see. Okay. Ooh, Kyle rolling a 10 there. That's pretty good. So I believe Kyle's going to be on the play here, and that's a pretty good spot to be with your human aggro deck. But Nathan is going to be able to interact very well with Jund Sagavan. You're going to have a lot of good cheap removal. His hand looks fairly good from first inspection here. He's got some lands, got a Dragon Rage Channeler. Looks like there's a Bauble.
That's all you want in the opener. Was that
a good
Ren
start.
6, maybe?
Yeah. Ooh, a Vial. It's as good as it gets. One of the most broken cards in Modern still. Aether Vial. One of the most busted cards in Legacy, too, really.
Yeah,
The card is real good.
The NRG Legacy winner was on Death and Taxes, so...
Makes sense. Were they on the Yorion version?
Yeah, Yorion.
Yep.
I was playing Omnitel, and Death and Taxes was the only deck that I was able to beat, really.
That's funny. That is funny.
I beat 3 Death and Taxes, and then lost to Elves, Burn, and some other, and Delver.
Okay. And here's DRC from Nate. And the bauble that I was talking about.
Pretty common sequence.
Yeah, very common sequence. Surveilling looks like a fetch land on top. Is he going to keep it? No. He says, get out of here. So he must have more lands in hand. And he's going to take a peek at Kyle's top card. I wish we could see what that is. Maybe Danny can give us some confirmation as to what that card on top may have been. I'm going to pull my phone up so I can... Okay. Yep, Danny's about to tell me what it is. What do we got? Gavany something, he says. Okay. Great. Gavany... I wonder if
Like
it's a Gavany
Township?
Dawn Guard. I would love to see a Gavany Dawn Guard, by the way. That's the new day-night creature from the new set, the Uncommon. I want to see someone play that card in Humans, man. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm correct. It is a Gavany Dawn Guard. I am excited about that. Way to go, Kyle, for putting a sweet card in your deck. I hope it's gas.
See, that card solves a pretty important problem for humans, which is the artifact that stops enter the battlefield abilities.
Yeah,
Torpor Orb. Torpor Orb. There's really no way for humans to remove that card beforehand, because, like, what are you going to do? Like,
Yep.
all the ways that humans would have to remove it are ETBs themselves, so having it be an activated ability is very important.
Yep.
But he has it here in the main deck, so he...
Oh, sure. You're thinking of the 2-mana 3/1, aren't you? I think you're thinking of the 2-mana 3/1 that can sack to blow up an artifact or enchantment. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Well, maybe I'm mistaken about what's in his hand.
Okay.
There's 2 from the new set that do almost exactly the same thing.
Oh, okay.
There's one that's green in one, and that flips into a 3/3.
Yeah.
When it attacks, it also destroys an artifact.
So the card that's in Kyle's hand is not the one you're thinking, but it's the 3-drop that when it turns to day or night, you basically Militia Bugler, but you can take any creature that's 3 or less CMC. So you hit every creature in the deck, and then obviously, so with Aether Vial, the plan is like vial it in, and then you pass the turn, you don't play a spell, you flip it to night, and then you get to hit a creature, and then hopefully it feeds itself so you can double spell. It's a really good card advantage source.
Interesting.
I'm curious to see how good it's going to be. Are you going to pay for that Sentinel? This is very awkward for Nate. This is not where you want to be at all. Kyle's getting all over this board.
Any idea what
Lightning Bolt. Makes sense.
Okay.
It's a good call. What are you going to do, Mr. Nate?
He's just thinking about paying right now.
Yeah, he is. Debating to pay for this Esper Sentinel. Do I let my opponent draw a card? Yes, he does. Okay. Okay. And so, Nate plays a Ragavan, which is pretty embarrassing in this position, if we're going to be honest. It is not good. Kyle just going to continue to do annoying human things. Ooh, there's a bolt in his hand. Kyle really went deep with this deck. There's a lot of...
How is he going to play his own lightning bolts?
I know.
Like, he's just assuming that Meddling Mage is going to die? Or I guess he must have drawn it.
He must have drawn it, and yeah, like you said, if the Meddling Mage doesn't die, I guess that's okay.
Why not put it on Unholy Heat?
Yeah, that's probably the better name if Bolt is in your deck, but maybe Kyle just had the read, man. Maybe Kyle just knew that Nate had some bolts in his hand. If looking at Nate's hand, I see at least a bolt, I think. I think a white bordered bolt, too, which is a great choice of Lightning Bolt, but look at that. Look at that. Trades the mage so he can cast the bolt. Talk about filthy. What in the heck, man? But
I don't actually know if that was a good play from Kyle, to be honest.
I mean, at the end of the day, he just had a 2-mana 2/2.
Yeah,
traded,
and
so.
he traded it down though, which is awkward because Ragavan's just like so useless in this
It definitely
matchup.
could be a lot worse for Nate here.
It could.
Like the last turn, it looked like it could be really bad. Like if Aethervile puts in a lieutenant here,
oh yeah,
like it's just
oh my god,
Renan.
Jeez. Oh boy. All right, we got a game,
Turn in
folks.
the corner here.
We got a game. Nate bringing it back, stabilizing this board. Kyle's hand must be just complete garbage.
Yeah.
No 2-drops. Okay.
All
Well, I know we're gonna put in that Gavany Dawnguard, right?
And no, he's not. It's double white. Oh,
he can vial it. He
Right,
should vial it in, and then it will turn to day, and then it will become night when he passes. So then he gets to look at the top 4 cards. Yep, I like this. What is the pause about? Should turn to night. Comes day when it enters, and then he did not cast a spell, so it turns to night. Yep, perfect. Okay.
What does he pick?
I don't know, and I don't think he knows quite yet.
He's in the tank. Or maybe Nate doesn't quite understand it. A lot of hand waving going on.
Yeah. Nate probably like, huh? Ragavan. Well, Kyle is really going deep with this deck, dude. This is very interesting.
I was looking at Goldfish lists maybe a week or two ago, and I looked at a humans deck that had 5-0'd, and it was all humans and 4 Ragavan. And I'm like, well, I guess that's where we're at.
So Nate is actually in a lot of trouble here. I don't know what you take here, because either way, your opponent's going to have 2 Dawnguards, which is going to get really annoying really quick. I guess Ren can pick off the image Dawnguard, but all Kyle has to do next turn is just cast 2 spells, which he can do no matter what. I guess now he can't cast 2 spells, but Nate might actually cast 2 spells for him here to just flip it back to day. Yeah, I hear Nate asking for the ruling right now. He's trying to figure out how this works. This isn't an interaction you're super used to if you haven't played a lot of this limited format.
I have been playing a lot of the draft, and this card is a house.
It's insane, dude. I've really been hoping someone would put this into Modern Humans, because I've thought this card would be good in Modern Humans. And anyone listening to this, if you've been listening to some of our other commentary, you know I've vouched for this card a few times. I think I even vouched for it for the 2K when I came on. But here it is, right? I mean, now we have 2 of this stinking thing. Now, right, yeah, and they're still, we can hear them talking about what's going on, which is really funny.
I worry that they can hear us sometimes.
I know, yeah. Okay, so it is still night, and the vial, oh, that's a meddling mage. Nate needs to respond. Now, he needs to remember, though, Gavany has Ward. Ward 1, so he's going to have to pay 2 mana for this bolt. Okay. Yep. Nate's going to bolt. He's bolting the one that can attack, obviously. Yep. And so I imagine what's going to happen here is Kyle's going to image a Dawnguard and then get 2 triggers from 2 different Dawnguards, because that'll be because that'll be the second spell, right? And it is the image, if I remember correctly. Here it comes, right? Take a damage, go to 16. Image should copy Dawnguard. Copy the Dawnguard. It's going to die anyway. Get your 2 cards. Get your double trigger here. Draw 2 cards. Okay, and here it comes. It's day, and we get to look at the top 4 once and then again. So, doing it once, boom. And that mage is naming an, oh, and that's an Imperial Recruiter. That's gross. That's really gross with Vial on 3. And then he gets to do it again. Top 4. What do we get? This is awesome, by the way. I'm loving this. I wanted to see these cards interact like so badly. Gavany Dawnguard with all these other sweet creatures. This is really cool. Okay, and he's still thinking about what that second creature is going to be. It's a Reflector Mage. Okay, I like it.
All 3 drops humans.
All 3 drops, and we have a vial on 3. So what Nate needs to do here is tick down the Ren to kill that that phantasmal imaged Dawn Guard, and then you don't even have to pay the ward because it just dies immediately to being targeted. That's just like a free kill here. Let's just do that. Boom, boom. See you later. Don't have to pay ward. Yeah, and
Is he gonna get him?
Kyle's trying to get him, and Nate's again asking for like a ruling.
What?
Oh no. Oh no. Don't fall for that, Nate.
He got it.
Kyle got him. DRC. Okay. Is he delirious? I don't know. Luris coming to hand. Now, let's be honest. It probably didn't matter. The man attacks there probably doesn't matter, but if it did matter, yikes.
Whose responsibility is the sack trigger? Just
That's a good question. I think it's the player who controls the image.
But I guess putting the ward trigger on the stack isn't illegal. So
No, it's not. It's not.
You can totally. If the opponent wants to pay it, they 100% can.
Yep. If you get them, you get them. And Kyle did indeed get him. Okay? That's Athalia's lieutenant, which seems pretty good here because it's going to push the Dawn Guard through the DRC to either the Ren or to face. Excuse me.
It's pretty hard for that card to be bad when you have multiple humans in play already.
And we've got a bolt. That bolt was nice. Is that going to be... This is going to be darn near lethal. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an attack for 9. I would just go all face here, I think. Ren can't kill anything anymore anyway. Just go all face. Especially because your opponent just put a Luris in their hand. No reason to worry about this Ren. Just all upstairs. 9 you. 9 you. 9 you. Oh, wait. We can't attack with that recruiter. I'm getting ambitious, folks. All right. He is going to kill the Ren. I don't know if I personally like that, but it's fine. You're a little worried about the Urza saga.
I think I would have killed Ren just because you're so far ahead. Why?
That's fair.
Risk it. I see what you're saying, though. It's not actually doing anything.
Yeah. I really don't think it did anything.
Maybe that's just the level 1 play is to kill Ren, get everything off the board. But
yeah, but I'm not sure that it was correct. I think I would just have gone face. I'd rather my opponent be at 4, especially because Kyle's a bolt deck, so you can always just top deck a bolt and go face. So getting your opponent really low is relevant in this deck. More relevant than, say, in other decks. And I think Nate's in huge trouble here, actually. I think Kyle is going to get this game won. And we really saw the power of Gavany Dawnguard in this game. Is this a modern sleeper? It could be.
Who knows? What would this deck struggle against, this humans deck? Maybe just...
Probably combo. If you're cutting Kitesail Freebooter, and I don't know if he's playing Thalia or not, especially if he's on bolts.
Yeah, it probably isn't.
So, combo seems to be probably a weakness in at least game 1, especially if you're not playing Thalia.
What combo decks are we worried about, though? Maybe...
Belcher.
Okay.
Yeah, Belcher, I think, is fairly real right now. Sodak just won it.
Meddling Mage, Chaos,
you're right.
Belcher.
Meddling Mage definitely can beat it, obviously.
Elementals I think would be tough for this deck.
I agree. Elementals is probably not where you want to be playing
Elementals
against.
just wants to play against any
creature decks are nice. Creature decks are just what you want to play against. And the nice thing about Elementals, too, is when I play it, it's a 4-time Prismatic Ending deck, which means you just have 4 natty answers to the vials, which is a big deal. Can Nate survive? I
wouldn't think so, but he might...
I don't think he's dead yet.
I think he's living, yeah. He
yeah,
goes
he's
to
not
10
dead
and
yet.
Then takes 6 down to 4.
Down to 4. Luris is dead. So, what is this, a bolt?
Some kind of kill spell.
And Nate is at 3. 4? Hard to tell, 100%. What just happened there? They ticked him down to 3, but that's another land off the top. I think Nate is a dunzo.
Still trying, though.
He is still fighting. Yes, we can still get a bauble. Pyrite Spellbomb doesn't do a ton. I guess it kills the recruiter, but doesn't seem particularly good to me. I don't know.
Constructs aren't enormous in this deck.
No, not until you really start just producing a ton of them, and by that point you've won the game anyway.
Is there any way I can live? He says.
He's thinking about it.
Shadow Spear equipped to the construct. You got a 2/2 lifelink.
3/3 actually. because it would be 1/2 and then +1/+1.
Oh,
so it'd be a 3/3 lifelink. So actually,
right.
that would maybe be good enough to keep him not dead.
So you block Reflector Mage, gain 3,
and go to 1 with the board as it is. Kind of cool. Okay. Well, that is a line I guess he has to not die. It seemed not good, but
Did he not get anything? Is he looking at his hand already? I'm confused. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know either. I think they're conversing. Oh, day-night. Did someone forget something about day-night? Someone forget a day-night? Yep.
Can you miss the trigger? Maybe.
I don't know if that's a missable. It probably is because I have no idea. I have no idea on that
My
one.
guess is if it was comp, it would just go...
You'd both get a warning.
You'd ask Nate, do you want to put this night trigger on the stack? And he would say...
He would probably
Probably
say,
not.
Yeah, and then you'd probably both get a failure to maintain game state.
Tough one to remember, though. Very new.
It is,
mechanic.
yeah. Especially when you're not playing limited of this format, because it's really the only time it's been relevant thus far. It's relevant in standard occasionally too, but fairly rare. Only a few day-night cards seeing play in standard at the moment.
Have you been playing much standard?
I have. I've been playing a ton of standard. It's what I've been streaming every day, actually, the last couple weeks, and I think I'm going to play blue-black in standard at the end.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten you guys were going to partially standard.
Yes, yes, it's both.
The one format I haven't really touched at all. I've played a lot of historic, modern, a little legacy recently, but not standard yet.
Yep.
Ooh, Ren 6. What?
It's actually fairly fun right now. I don't think the Ren is going to matter at all.
Yeah, I don't know
here.
what's...
Yeah, like you said, he had to get a Shadow Spear there and equip. That was the only way to not be dead.
He doesn't have... He has one blocker.
Yeah,
Ren
one blocker,
goes up.
very dead.
Scoop him up.
You got it, man. On to the next one. It's pretty awesome being able to hear the players, honestly. This is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Kyle is going to be up a game. Nate, down a game, obviously. Going to try and figure out what to do in post-board games. If I'm Nate, on the play, I think Ragavan is still acceptable. On the draw, that card will be absolutely out of my deck as quick as it could possibly be out of my deck. Pithing Needle's coming in for Vile. I like that. Torp Orb's coming in. I like that. What is this? An Inquisition? A push? I can't tell. Cards he's brought in so far I've liked. I can't quite tell everything he's bringing in, but I know he brought in a Pithing Needle and a Torp Orb, both of which will be quite good.
What do you take out? That's the hardest part about sideboarding.
Yeah, it is the hardest part about sideboarding, and I think honestly, if I'm Nate, I'm probably cutting Ragavan, even on the play. Thinking about it more, like we need to make room for these other cards, and Ragavan just ain't good in this matchup really at all. It's only going to maybe hit on the first turn, and most turns after the first turn, it's going to be pretty bad.
I wonder about Ren 6 a little bit.
Ren 6 on the play is okay because it can tag like champion and things. You can also always tag Phantasmal Image, but
That's
yeah,
true.
it's kind of medium. It's kind of medium, especially if Kyle's not playing Thalia.
Yeah, because if you're Nate, you're just thinking all you saw was 3 drops that game. I mean, you saw the Esper Sentinel, which you can pick
That's
off.
a good one to pick off with Ren.
Yeah, so
I'd be willing to let my opponent draw.
I would
a card
leave
if
it in on
kill
the play certainly to try and to really get them. That's when Ren is the best. Is
Yes.
When you're on the play and you pick off their turn 1 play, that's such a great position.
Yep.
In the draw, I'm less certain.
I assume Nathan's deck probably has a main deck Nihil Spellbomb that goes. If I'm correct about that being in the main deck, that certainly gets cut.
Is he still playing the artifact that sacrifices lands to gain life?
Ooh, Zurin Orb. I don't know.
Along with because when we were at the tournament this weekend, he was playing that card alongside the new card from Modern Horizons 2, the 5/3 that makes 5/3
Titania.
Titania.
Huh.
You know all the names of the cards.
That's kind of interesting.
But yeah, no, you can. He was saying that you could tutor up the artifact and then stack all your lands and make like multiple 5/3s.
That's kind of cool.
Kind of kill your opponent in one big swing.
That's kind of cool.
Maybe it'd be really awesome if we got to see it here.
And what's pretty funny about, so you know how we had that bit of confusion with Gavany Dawnguard at that very first moment where he put it in? I guess Kyle probably hasn't played a ton of Limited. He tried doing the look of the top 4 thing immediately, right when it becomes day, and that's not how that card works. The card would be insane if it triggered when it entered, too.
Oh, yeah.
That would be nonsense. The card already is like crazy good.
A little power creep from Militia
Yeah.
Bugler there, if that's how that works.
Yeah, that'd be just ridiculous. The card would just be strictly better than Bugler at that point by a mile.
Yeah, extra power.
Extra
ward,
power with
and it just
ward.
continues to do
Yeah,
it.
continues to do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I already think it's a better card than Bugler, even without doing something upon entrance. It's a really good card. But yeah, okay. So yeah, we'll see what Nate's plan here is. His plan really just needs to be, let's have some interaction. I don't know if this deck can deal with Aether Vial. Does he play K Command? I'm not sure if John Sagavan's playing K Command.
Just one if he was.
Okay, not many copies. I don't know a ton about the John Sagavan lists.
Yeah, pretty much just I think it's just like the green red deck, but you play Inquisitions and what have you. You cut a couple things. I don't know.
Well, he's got a Wrenn. He's got a Bauble. It looks like he might have a DRC as well. Shock. Here comes the DRC Bauble, I think.
Ooh,
Ragavan. Okay. And if Ragavan was ever going to be good, this is the spot.
Yep.
This has to be the spot.
No idea what's on top still.
Yep, couldn't quite tell what's on top. Danny may be able to let us know, so I will keep you all posted.
Ooh, looks
Alpine Moon. It's an Alpine Moon. So Kyle has an Alpine Moon. So then Kyle's going to get... Okay, and this is why Ragavan is good enough on the play, is for this exact scenario. Right here. Punch you, trigger. Can I hit 3-drop, please? How about my own Imperial Recruiter? How about a land? Yuck. Oof. The Lotus Petal will be useful, though.
If he had the K command, interesting moment to play it.
Yes, it would. Looks like a Thoughtseizor Inquisition. Couldn't tell which one.
Ooh,
oh, that's an Ariak champion, baby. We gotta take that. That's gotta go.
And then Meddling Mage, Ragavan, Alpine Moon. Can't really tell what this is.
Yeah, I think it's a Reflector Mage. Could be a Deputy of Detention. That card at the very top there, Danny. If you could let us know what that... Oh, they're good. They're moving up. No. Still couldn't quite tell. Might have been a Thalia. Oh, it's Champion of the Parish. Okay.
Well, that
Perfect.
Wrenn in Nate's hand will maybe get a chance to take that out. But not if Kyle sequences it correctly.
Yeah. Now I'm confused. Okay, so we used a treasure to Thoughtseize, I guess? Is that what happened? Why is a treasure going? Or did we double hand hate spell? Oh, he had 2 hand hate spells. That's what happened. There are 2 creatures in the graveyard there. So Champion of the... sorry. Meddling Mage and Ariak Champion get taken care of there. Human.
Yep.
Now, if you're Kyle here, do you just try dashing in Ragavan? I kind of like that. Yep. I'm into this. I like this play a lot. Ugh. It's gross. All right, now we'll try vialing in Champion to trade, I guess. Might have to be the play. Oh, God.
Will you respond?
He will. He needs to. And this is a good play from him. This is heads up.
Does Nate have another land?
He hits the Alpine Moon, and then he has another land. So I don't think Nate has another land here. He has Ragavan, and yeah. He has another Ragavan, which is going to come down now, and then he has the Wrenn.
Would have been a blowout too if he hadn't blocked, because then he could have just slammed Wrenn.
Yes. No, this was
Still
good.
killed Champion.
This was good. I like the play there from Kyle a lot. That's a smart play. Nate, I think, actually made I think last turn when Nate double hand hate spelled, he was supposed to just go Wrenn and a single hand hate spell. Oh, please be an Ariak. Oh, meddling. So that happens immediately. He is going to trade, which I like. Okay, and now Nate is going to have to try and get there with his Wrenn. This is a pretty even game at this point. At the
land's
moment.
helpful. He was missing land drops.
Yes,
so.
the land is huge, and that's what I was going to say. I was kind of confused that Nate did the double hand hate spell thing a few turns ago when he could have just got that Wrenn going right away to keep hitting the land drops. But it ended up working out okay.
I like Kyle's top deck options a little more, maybe.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely do. Especially the vial on 3, they're just going to be free. I mean, something as simple as a Gavany just brings you right back in this. You vial it in, and then you get to see another card. Nate, looks like a bolt. Lightning bolt in hand there. White border bolt. Okay, land into play. Say go. Kyle says go. Now, did he not tick up the vial there?
He wants it at 2 for whatever reason. Kind of interesting.
That isn't, you know what? I wonder if there's an Ariak in our future. Ariak champion?
I feel like Auric would be clocking the Ren. Do you not? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I really don't know. We'll see what happens.
With the bolt in the yard, the emblem would be a problem.
Oh, the emblem's going to be a huge issue, yeah. You cannot let this thing get to emblem. Okay, 6. Get land, play it. Now, at some point, Nate needs to stop playing these lands and just keep them in hand. That way he has retrace if he ultimates. I think that's where I'd be at like next turn. I would just stop playing lands. Right. Kyle says, forget this. I can't beat this.
Packs him up.
Makes sense. The Ren's really doing some work there. Now, if I'm Nate, Ragavan comes out on the draw. It did all it could on the play, and it still almost wasn't good enough. It just ended up being barely good enough.
Yeah, only because he was able to Thoughtseize the Auriok champion.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it would have done nothing at all.
And so that's why on the draw here, get that card out of your deck. Let's be more interactive, more removal, more hand hate, things like that. Redraws, things of that nature. Ragavan is not going to cut it on the draw. And I think a lot of players are too afraid to cut Ragavan on the draw. I think it's very important to understand that the card is incredible, obviously, but on the draw, that card is actually pretty bad in a fair amount of matchups, and you need to be able to recognize that if you're a Ragavan player. This is not Legacy, where everybody's playing just 1-mana spells that you can just hit with Ragavan. And the Lotus Petals are less broken in Modern than they are in Legacy, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. In the Legacy round, my opponent flipped a Cunning Wish off of Ragavan, and then searched his sideboard up for a Force of Negation, and that didn't go so well for me as the combo player.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. That's really gross. That sounds really not fun. Not fun for you. Okay. Yet again, our players just being lightning quick with these going to game 3 decisions. Now, that concerns me for Nate, because I don't think he'd reboarded if they went that quick. Now, his hand is very good. I think it's got a DRC and multiple removal spells. Chuck, DRC, Bauble. He's got the Bauble. That'll be deployed in a moment, I'm sure.
Looks at his own library.
2 more DRCs and a Bolt are in his hand. 2 more DRCs, a Bolt, and something else. We'll get confirmation on this card in a moment. What is that top card being revealed? What is it? What is the mystery card being revealed? We're about to find out. It is Ariak. Let's close that. Perfect. Nice. Okay, and so Kyle here, going to play an Ariak. That'll trigger the champion. Put a counter on it. He'll rumble. Like Nate has a Blackleaf Cliffs in hand. That'll be pretty good for him.
I'd rather be Kyle right now.
I agree.
Say that for sure.
I agree. Ariak champion is a heck of a card. And I don't know for sure, but I think both our players are 2-0. Okay, DRC, trigger Ariak, gain a life. Kyle should be gaining a life. Unholy Heating the champion. Did Kyle gain a life off that Ariak? I don't know.
Possibly missed it.
Maybe.
Nope, there it is, 21.
There it is. Perfect.
I'd be surprised if Kyle missed it. He's pretty astute about those kind of things.
Yeah. And it looks like Nate must have had delirium or he wouldn't have attacked.
So I guess Nate does have 6 power.
Yeah,
in.
Nate's actually in pretty okay position at the moment. Image the Ariak, but yeah, this is not great for Kyle because his Dragon Rage is... Okay, he did miss one of the triggers. Apparently. Yeah, Nate just having a lot of damage. Oh baby. Now that should gain him 2. Kyle needs to gain 2 off that. That's very critical. He did. Looks like he gained 2. He's up to 17. Bolt you. Triggers. And Nate is on the aggro. Yeah, Nate is playing Red Black Burn now, folks. It is Red Black Burn time. I'm getting in there with DRCs. They fly. I don't care about your Ariak champions. Whatever. Fly over you. Kyle needs something good and fast.
It's crazy how quickly that card flipped the game. You know, when your threat costs 1 mana. You know.
Yep, DRC doing what DRC does here. Kyle, all these shocks are going to come back to haunt him now in a game like this when you're playing an all shock mana base. Looks pretty awkward. We need a deputy quickly. Oh, that's a bolt. Okay.
Takes down 1.
That's pretty good. I dig it. I think there's an Unsettled Mariner in there too. We should definitely just shock to play it. There's no reason to not.
Concerned about that life total.
But it doesn't make you gain the 2 right back, so I really don't get not just deploying it.
Yeah.
You might as well get on the board, you know? Well, Nate has another bolt in his hand. Is this a dash Ragavan? That's a gain 2. Yep, gain 2. That's huge. So Ragavan literally just doing nothing. It's a wash.
Gets the flip. He gets the treasure.
It does. It gets a treasure and gets to flip. Is that a land? I think it's a land, but I can't tell. Cavern of Souls, yeah. So funny enough, though, the Ragavan dash was literally a wash. I don't even know if that was necessarily a good play. Is the treasure relevant? Because if the treasure's not relevant, it's kind of a medium play. You're just literally netting nothing. So you're just spending 2 mana to make Lotus Petals. I don't know. Maybe it's good enough. All right. Well, there is a Reflector Mage in hand. So now Kyle can play Reflector Mage, gain 2 life, bounce a DRC, which can't get redeployed. That puts him to 7. Nate is not at 5. Kyle's at 5. But Nate is, I believe, at 13. Should be 11 here in a moment. Okay. Smart by Kyle. Doesn't want to get clocked by the Ragavan again, I guess, but... Is that a Bolt there or an Unholy Heat? Unholy Heat. Okay. Bolt is reserved for face. Kyle should be at 7. Yeah, and that's critical because that means the Bolt is 1 point short of lethal. Down to 4 you go, Kyle. Kyle's actually in pretty good position now, I think. DRC not being able to be redeployed here is huge. Every creature gaining 2 is big. I guess, though, Nate just needs 1 more attack and a Bolt and this game's over. So
do you play Ragavan or not?
No, you don't. And he did not. Now, Kyle needs to play 2 creatures here. This needs to be a double creature turn. That is not going to do it. Nate's going to win this game. Nate's going to bolt upstairs, put Kyle to 3, attack for 3, win the game for Xaxes. Tight game. Kyle. What?
Fun little day graphic there.
Okay, that's an Unholy Heat. And then Bolt you. Just had to show him I had all these. Well, another Swish member put into the test of battle here. It was very close, but Nate is able to pull it out. So he, I believe, goes to 3-0 on the evening. What a match this was. This was really tight. Very close one. I think a little more interesting than our last one. These games were tighter. A lot more to talk about. Yeah, this was a good match. I'm excited for our last round. What did you think of this match here?
Well, it was just unlucky that Kyle kind of got stumbled on his lands.
It was.
Like, I think he flips the game, or he continues his advantage if he doesn't stumble, because he stumbled and that gave Nate a window to get back in the game.
Funny enough, Danny was telling me too, Kyle missed 1 life trigger, and that 1 life trigger literally lost him the game, because if he has 1 more life here, that Bolt is not lethal, and then Nate, if he has to redeploy the DRC, that's another gain 2 for Kyle. So he may have been able to find a way to survive, but, you know, as it is, Just barely gets beat down. Is it 4 Ariox? That would make sense. I like 4 Ariox. Just 3.
Humans is kind of a difficult deck sometimes. A lot of triggers. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Attacking with creatures, kind of difficult compared to some of the things you do in Modern.
Oh, a Sanctum Prelate. That's kind of gas. Sanctum Prelate on 1 in this matchup would be just ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Kyle's got a really cool deck here. Really, really cool deck. Hopefully he'll continue to play this for the next few weeks and we can see this one again because I'm excited to see where he goes with this. This is a really neat deck. I think this one has more potential than Jeskai Phoenix, personally. I think it's probably... Oh, there's the 4th one. He does have 4 Ariak champions. Beautiful. Makes sense. I think if you're playing some number, you might as well just play 4. If you want it, you want it.
What about Sanctifier? I've liked Sanctifier as like a...
Oh, Sanctifier and Vec?
And Vec, yeah. So the two of them fight for the same slot.
They
really.
do. They do.
So
do you just play 2 of each?
I would say that Sanctifier has been what I've been playing. If I was playing humans right now, I'd play Sanctifier.
Just 4 Sanctifier?
Maybe 3 in a sideboard, maybe 4. I don't know. Maybe a split. Maybe like 3/3 if you really want.
It really depends what you're trying to beat in the metagame. If you're trying to beat like burn and like aggressive nonsense, then you probably want the Ariak champions more. But if you're trying to beat, anything that's using its graveyard, and even here they use their
think
graveyard.
About if it was the Sanctifier, like would he have had Delirium?
He wouldn't have had Delirium.
Probably not.
You're right, because it would have hit all the black and red cards in that graveyard.
He wins the game easily, right?
That's true. You're right, actually. That's actually really interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, just shutting. If DRC doesn't have Delirium, it's terrible. Yeah. And if Unholy Heat doesn't have Delirium, it's pretty medium too. 1 mana Shock that can't go face is pretty bad.
Yeah, I just haven't heard enough arguments for where Auric Champion is just better than the Sanctifier.
That makes sense.
Because they have the same protection. They're kind of good against the same decks. I mean, Auric Champion is good here, but it's
burn, specific, old school burn is the only spot where I'd maybe rather have Auric Champion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Obviously, the life relevant there,
but not relevant against much else.
Yeah, and I guess traditional burn. Are they not playing Dragon Rage Channeler?
Some are, some still aren't.
Okay,
it depends. Depends who you talk to.
Because man, if that thing's just a 1/1 compared to a 3/3
it's such a bad. I mean, it's a bad card. If it's a 1/1, it's not a good card.
Yeah.
I mean, if that card didn't become a 3/3 flyer, it probably wouldn't be a playable Magic card, right? I don't think it would be anyway.
All right.
I won because his Auric champions were supposed to be Sanctifiers, but he didn't have them.
Okay.
That's
well,
so
we're
funny.
talking about that right now, about why he was playing Ariox over Sanctifiers.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Because then I like the Ariox are good, very good.
Yeah.
But
they're not Sanctifier in fact.
If it's a Sanctifier, then
you don't have Delirium.
Darcy's aren't swinging for the Sanctifier.
Yeah. Yep.
I literally need Goif to be Sanctifier.
Well,
or Pirates Bubble.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Teammate Nate Canestay comes over and tells us exactly what happened over there. His opponent wished he had Sanctifier and Vex, but did not have them, so was playing Auric Champion instead. And here we are, Nate 3-0 on the evening, playing for a 4-0 next round. Oh, never mind. He's 2-1.
Yep.
I'm a filthy liar.
I died to teammate Scotty Bush on Dredge.
Oh, nice. Dredge. Very cool.
Turns out the graveyard hate that's tuned for Delirium isn't good enough against Dredge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this round. We are going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we will be back for round 4 for some sweet, sweet modern action, our final round of the night. We'll see if we can get some 3-0s on camera here and see who may be the bounty for next week. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes. See you then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final round, round 4, Monday Night Modern, here at Galactic Toys and Games. Video brought to you by Swish Gaming. Well, it has been a pretty interesting night, to say the least, so far. Wouldn't you say, Dan?
Oh yeah, it's been some fun matches. I've enjoyed watching the decks you don't see every day. The Jeskai humans, the budget infect for
Yep.
the budget players out there.
Absolutely.
Jun Sagavan is a pretty fun deck too.
It is, yep.
What
That
was-
was teammate Nate.
What's the other one I'm forgetting?
The Affinity.
The Affinity.
From
Affinity,
teammate
obviously.
Andrew.
Super interesting deck. What happened round 1?
Round 1. What did we have on stream round 1?
It's funny how
I
you
forget, yeah.
It's funny how you forget your matches.
I forget, yeah.
I'll forget my matches, like even just at FNM. Like I won't remember what I played like 3 rounds ago. You just get too absorbed in
Yeah,
the next match.
round 1 was a little more awkward too because it was just me commentating, which is, well, commentating is much better when it's more than one person. Like
Yeah.
I can commentate by myself, but it's just I think it's just better with more than one person.
Yeah, the ability to go back and forth, bounce
Yeah.
thoughts off each other, not have to be talking the whole time.
Right.
It definitely seems like it'd be 2's more ideal.
But oh yeah, it was Larry on Elementals versus Dan, one of the younger kids. Dan was playing the Living End deck, the blue Living End deck.
Oh, cool.
So honestly, fair. Ooh, and we've got another teammate, Scotty Jim Dad Bush, on Dredge versus Trevor Dalton on 4-color Blink Yorion.
Oh man,
If Trevor
that sounds exciting.
is who I think it is, this dude's really good. I've played against him twice now. He was playing the Enchantress deck at both of the last couple 2Ks.
Ooh, I saw, I think a lot of not
Now,
lands.
do we have? I think the names might be on the wrong side because Scotty Jim Dad Bush just revealed an ephemerate, so that seems a little off for Dredge.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was too, but I just assumed I'd seen wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the names need to get flipped around here, but and Danny's yelling at me that he knows, but I'm still gonna just keep harping on him anyway
Yeah.
because it'll make him move even faster. No, it's all good, Danny. We'll get it moved.
Just make the players move, just
But this is pretty cool. This is literally every round tonight we've had a Swish member on, so that's been pretty cool. Okay, so mulligan procedure here.
Judge mulligans a lot.
It does. I'm really curious to see this 4-color Blink deck in action. I've been told that this deck is pretty hot. Some people have been telling me to move off Elementals for it, and I'm not going to do that. I haven't tested this deck nearly as much as Elementals, and I'm still quite confident that Elementals is a good deck. So it seems like a poor decision for me personally.
They're metagaming to beat the mill deck, dude.
That's, if I lose to mill, I lose to mill. I'm not even going to have that many. I mean, I'll have some tools for it, but lose to mill, I lose to mill. That's fine.
It's a good matchup for you, in my
I think it's pretty close, yeah. I definitely don't feel not favored. It's not one of the matchups I don't want to play. There are a few matchups that I would prefer to not play against, and that is not one of them. All right, so there's a sprawl from Trevor Dalton. Certainly not Scotty Jim Dad Bush. He wouldn't be caught dead playing a Utopia sprawl on a forest in Dredge, I don't think. All right, Scotty, thinking about the fetch here. Is he going to fetch? Probably going to fetch, right? I would imagine. Let's go get a shock land. Let's put it into play tapped.
What could he be thinking about here?
I really don't know. We're going to find out, though. Is there some sort of... Oh, there's a Merchant of the Veil in his hand. So I believe Merchant is an instant, if I remember correctly. It's an adventure. It's an adventure creature that has 1 mana, and it was like half of Faithless Looting.
Yeah, you just discard and draw, I think. Or maybe draw, discard? I'm unsure.
I believe it's discard, then draw, but I forget. And maybe Danny can clear that up for us. But I guess he's still got to fix the player names, so maybe he won't quite.
He's got his work cut out for him.
He does. He has his work cut out for him. Indeed. All right, and Scotty, shocking in a Blood Crypt, doing the Merchant of the Veil. Boom. All right, What is it? Is it discard? It's discard then draw. Oh baby, that's a dredge 5, kids. And we are off to the races.
Man.
That's a thug. That's another thug. All right, we're dredging 4. Draw, dredge 4. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another thug. There's a prize amalgam. That's a payoff, I suppose. Haven't been great dredges so far from Scotty.
No way to get those prize amalgams out yet.
Not yet.
Maybe a cathartic here.
That would be nuts. A cathartic here would be insane because he has.
I think they have 8 now because it's
They
the white
do.
one.
They do. Yeah, and he has 2 thugs, so it's going to be at least a dredge 8. You have to assume he'd hit another dredger. I think it's only 2 thugs from what I'm seeing. And cathartic. Oh, just casting a thug. Yuck.
That's not what you want to be doing. I'm sure.
What is this? Yeah, this is not.
Trevor is pretty ecstatic about that.
Yeah, I'd be pretty ecstatic about this. I'd be wondering what in the world's going on. Crazy.
I mean, what can go wrong with the dredge deck? You can get the Narcomiga stuck in your hand.
Yep.
The prized amalgams.
Yep.
The dredgers.
Sure can.
I
Now,
know that he has at least one of the dredgers in his
I have to imagine this is a pretty good matchup for Scotty because I just don't think, first of all, being an 80 card deck, you're going to be less likely to hit your hate for dredge anyway, but I don't think there is that much hate for dredge regardless in the 4 color deck, right? Can't imagine. I don't even know if they play endurance. They might play like 2. Maybe they play 4. They're playing 80 cards. Well, there's the cathartic we like to draw. Conflagrate's kind of cool. Ooh. All right, that's big game because that is going to bring an amalgam back here pretty soon. Okay.
Still not heaps of power and toughness.
No, but at least we're doing something. Now there's not nothing going on, whereas there was literal nothing going on a moment ago. So Scotty's going to finally, there's going to start to be things in play. Now, I will say, Scotty does need to be a little worried about Trevor just playing an Omnath and then just starting to accumulate an insane amount of life and value from that Omnath. All right, well, there's a stinkweed, at least one stinkweed, a creeping chill, dark blast.
He just exile Conflagrate.
He conflagrated the Ren to get it off the board, which
Actually,
I like.
It's actually Conflagrate.
Is it conflagrate?
I once said Conflagrate at a tournament,
Oh.
and my opponent tried to like.
Oh, did he?
I meddling mage Conflagrate, and he once tried to.
Oh my!
Scam me on that.
Wow, dude, that is
And I just
some.
said it again now, accidentally.
That is some.
I don't know.
Ridiculous scumbaggery, is what that is. That's insane.
The judge ruled in my favor.
I'm
but-
sure he did. That's ridiculous. That's like saying it's not Emrakul, it's Emrak. You know, just how you pronounce the card is fairly irrelevant.
He wanted to know if Conflagrate was an actual magic card.
Oh my god.
He's like, Judge, is Conflagrate an actual card? And the judge told him no, so. Fortunate for me that was not another magic card.
My goodness. All right. What's Trevor going to do here? He's thinking. Thinking. How do I beat all these dredge idiots? This is ridiculous. No one plays this deck anymore. That's what Trevor's thinking right now. That's what I'd be thinking. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Local modern FNM, I came to have fun, and Scotty Jim Dad Bush is out here just dredging all over the place. Doesn't even want to cast his spells or play magic. He just wants to throw his deck in his graveyard and just see what happens.
Got some action?
Omnath? Or is it like a sweeper? Verdict to be kind of embarrassing here.
Omnath is good, right? It blocks everything.
Yeah.
Like, not the one-
Omnath's very good because it gains you a bunch of life too. What is this, Teferi? Right,
Yeah,
I like
whatever.
bounce. I like bounce amalgam. Just put the amalgam back in his hand. Yep, like that. Draw a card.
Now we really need Cathartic. We gotta discard all these
Yeah,
bad cards we have.
I like that play from Trevor. Let's bide some time. Let's bounce the most aggressive creature. Scotty may try. Oh, there's another 1/1 coming to town. And ooh,
Ox.
the
Ox.
Ox of Argonis.
So
That's gonna be nasty, folks. Those that don't know what Ox does, it has escape 8, and here it comes. Now you discard your hand, and then you draw 3 cards. Well, guess what? There's some Stinkweed Imps. There's
He
an
wants to
amalgam.
discard his hand. See, he knows better than me. I suggested Cathartic, but obviously you wouldn't take a draw. there.
Obviously, let's just throw the Ox in our graveyard.
Yeah, like obviously.
Just throw the deck in the graveyard. That's what this deck does. Just put it in the bin and just start doing cool stuff. And Trevor, you can't fully see his face, but you can tell his hands are on his cheeks. He's just like, yup, do your dredge thing, dude. Dredge it up. Here it is. Boom. Dredge 5. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5. All right, we had another imp. 1, 2, 3. There's a creeping chill, folks. So that's gonna. Okay, he's gonna resolve it in a moment, I guess. Did he just miss a chill? There's a chill, folks. There it is. Boom. Lightning Helix you for free, please. The best part about all this is Scotty really has not had that good of dredges, and he's still just like crushing this game.
Does he have a way to get the prize amalgams out? I think so, right?
I guess not.
No blood ghasts.
No, not at the moment. There's an Omnath. Okay, we need a fetch. We need a fetch from Trevor. Let's play a fetch. Let's gain 4. Oh god, does he not have a land? Did he just miss a land? Oh, okay. He's seeing if it resolved, I guess. Fetch land here is huge. Fetch land basically gains his 7 life.
What does it do? Everything.
Yeah, all the things, Mr. Jim Dad Bush. All right, that's at least a gain 4, and he might fetch for 5 mana here. We'll see. If he can use the mana, he will. If he isn't planning to use the mana, he's just going to use it as another gain 4 at least.
Maybe you. Yeah, probably just Solitude. Here's the
okay, and he wants to know the number of cards in Mr. Jim Dad Bush's deck.
Thought only mill players asked that number.
Nope. Apparently, Trevor Dalton asks that number as well in 4-color Blink Yorion.
Got that deck size advantage. He's used to beating him.
The massive deck size advantage. All right. Yeah, Scotty, honestly, this does not look to be a good position right now for Scotty. No Loams is awkward. Loam would be pretty critical to just like build up a card count for a big conflag. Technically, I guess next turn he can conflag, discard his hand, and kill the Omnath. So maybe he'll do that, but... All right, so Trevor decides to forego the fetch and gain life on Scotty's turn, and he's just going to get some mana. So he's got 5 mana right now. 2 red, 1 white, 1 green, 1 blue are in the pool. Is this just going to be a Fury? Yeah, this might just be a Fury. I don't know if this... I mean, this deck probably plays Fury. It's got to play Fury, right? There it is. Boom, baby. Fury. Really? Killing the Ox. He's just going to let him... He just says, I don't care about your dredging. That's greedy. That is a greedy play from Mr. Trevor Dalton.
That's why I was counting.
It is. It is.
He doesn't think he can... But you can take draws.
We know Scotty has at least 2 more creeping chills, I think. I mean, maybe they only play 3, but he could potentially have 2 more chills to hit, so that'd be 2 more free helixes, and he also has this conflagrate.
I've got you saying it now.
Oh, that's how I say it, dude, and that's how I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't care. I don't care if someone tells me it's wrong. I don't care if it is wrong. That's how I say it, and that's how I've always said it. That's how I'm gonna keep saying it.
Sounds good.
But yeah.
We're getting to a point where Scotty might just be out, not have enough
Yeah.
damage to just output with his deck.
I'm starting to wonder if Scotty doesn't even play Loam in the deck. I haven't seen a Loam yet with all this dredging. Kind of wild. Loam is one of the best cards in the deck. It discards those. It's time to dredge. Dredge 5. There's a chill. There's 1 chill. It may have been a Loam. It was a green card. I think it was a Loam. It had to have been a Loam, right?
Missed something there. I think he's... I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell. What in the world? A 2 Narcomoebas. That's going to bring the idiots back. The amalgams. I think Trevor's going to win this game, though. I think Trevor's just going to play a sweeper on his turn. And then Mr. Jim Dad Bush is going to be out of options.
Omnath gaining life multiple times is just like...
Omnath is a really busted card, man. It's a really, really degenerate Magic card, honestly. With fetch lands especially, it's just so stupid.
Up to 16. Could be 20 if you wanted to wait.
Yep.
He's not really under, like,
No.
much pressure. The double striker, he can kind of just sit. I don't know. I guess 4 amalgams is pressure, but
It is, yeah. Is it enough pressure? And the answer, maybe no. I mean, he does have Conflagrate in the yard. Conflagrate can deal 4 damage. Trevor can go to 19 because the fetch loses 1 to fetch, and then... So let's just assume Scotty swung everything and Trevor did nothing else. If he swung everything, that's 3, 6, 8... Sorry, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, plus another 4, that'd be 18. So at Scotty, even if Trevor has literal nothing and just fetches to gain 4, Trevor has actually
And
2
doesn't block,
blocks.
right?
Yeah, Trevor has 2
Like-
blocks because Fury can go on, just beat the Ox.
Yep, and then,
And then
block an
Omnath eats a
amalgam,
3/3.
and you get 9 through plus 2.
Yeah, so 11. Yeah, I think Scotty is pretty dead here unless something wild happens.
I mean, how many turns does he have? Is this like how many cards are left in his deck,
Unless
you think?
that last card is specifically the 4th
Is it just
copy.
one card, you think?
It is, yeah. I think it's 1 card. And unless that last card is specifically the last Creeping Chill, even if it is, I don't think he has a chance. But if it's 1 more Creeping Chill, he could Dredge for that free Helix and then Conflagrate for 4 more damage. I think Scotty's dead here, though. Apparently, Dredge does have a fail rate. And we have fellow teammate Andrew Wolfeis with us on the cast here now. How'd your night finish up, Andrew? No, that's a man who doesn't look too thrilled.
Slow head shake.
there's no sense getting mad about my opponent. My opponent even admitted it. He drew like the actual nuts game 1. Like I did my affinity thing. I had 3 copies of Mirror Enforcer in play.
So you also had nuts, but apparently not.
Well, I didn't
as
draw
good.
Thought Monitor.
Oh,
and like so
fair.
he cast all 4 copies of Crashing Footfalls within the first 5 turns.
Oh, jeez, dude. That's
we're,
insane.
We're missing a Yorian
And
Blink,
Fury
it looks like.
twice.
That's gross. All right, yeah, this Yorion Blink, I mean, this game should be over. We're kind of just waiting on it. So did you finish 3-1 then?
3-1, yeah.
3-1's a good night, though.
Yeah,
3-1's
it's
a good night. Makes you some money. Good stuff.
I will say though, the more because I've been playing more Legacy than Modern. I do not enjoy the gameplay of Modern nearly as much as Legacy right
Sure.
now because the free spells in Modern are just not that enjoyable.
That's fair.
Like the Rhinos deck is not enjoyable to play against.
It's fair.
Like people hate Mox Opal fast mana, and they play Gemstone Cavern.
Yeah.
And this is a deck that
Can you imagine? Can we just imagine a world where they wouldn't have banned Simeon Spirit Guide? By the way. Oh my God.
The Simeon Spirit.
They
Well,
banned that
I always
card
talk,
right on time.
I always said Simeon Spirit Guide is more egregious because you just don't see it coming.
Yeah, it was terrible. That card
Ooh,
was
you
so
can't-
awful.
Alpha
can't
Strike
counter it.
here in the game.
All right, Scotty with the Alpha Strike. Jim Dad, Scotty. Bringing the heat. Trevor's going to line up some blocks. I don't think there's any way he loses this game.
So
And how many
soaks,
times has Fury
soaks up
been
9.
blanked this game?
Only once.
Just once. He went.
It was cast and blinked.
It's pretty good.
It's been good enough. Scotty is going to die to decking, I think. Yep, he
Oh,
just cast the
creeping chill. Not
Love
quite
it.
enough.
Nope, not good
Yeah.
enough. Trevor up again.
I played Trevor in round 3, and I got lucky. There's
Okay.
no 2 cents about it. He
Are both our players then 2-1?
yes. Yep.
Okay.
They were at the table number 2. They were X1.
Okay, fair enough. So you and your opponent were the only unbeatens? Interesting. Okay.
Robots and Rhinos.
Robots, Rhinos. Not gonna lie, I'm fine with them not putting that on stream. It was probably better that we did this one.
Oh, much more interesting. Like I said, I don't think the gameplay of the Rhinos deck is very interesting.
It's not. It's not. I remember I did when I was gonna do that team event with Connor Mullally and Allie Warfield. Allie was potentially gonna play the Rhinos deck, and so Connor and I did some testing with it because Allie wasn't sure if they wanted to play it or not. And it was just Connor and I were just kind of laughing because it's just such a silly little deck. I mean, the deck's just like 2-for-1 city. You play Footfalls off these Cascade cards, which is kind of like a 2 or 3-for-1, and then you 2-for-1 yourself with like forces and stuff, and that's just the deck. It's just the whole deck is just force to protect and then do Rhinos.
Yeah, and it's been so refined to the point where it's obviously it's so consistent.
Yeah, it's
doing
so
what it is now.
consistent, so hyper
And it's
efficient.
just like, do you have one of the 8 Cascade cards? Because if you do, you have 2 4/4s. And
Yep.
then there's, Brazen Borrower, which is obviously not Fire Ice nuts. And you got all the forces, the Furies, and all that. It's not very interesting modern.
No, that's fair.
But I mean, the deck does get beat up by like Tron and stuff. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. It can
and there are
definitely-
counters to it. It's
There are.
just Nobody's playing the counters right now.
Elementals is pretty close with it too.
Like, and you, Dan, you play a lot of Mill. Is that a good matchup, the Rhinos? Because I feel like that's not a great matchup for you.
So I played it in top 4 this past weekend, and I did beat him, but he drew quite poorly in games 2 and 3. He crushed me in game 1.
Yeah.
Because he made
rhinos
3 times, and
he did the
pushed
rhino
2 of
thing.
them and then died to the rest of them.
Yeah.
I will say that afterboard engineered explosives is tough for them. I occurred engineers explosives with Luris, and that was pretty tough for him. I did say you can also surgically extract crashing footfalls, which is like pretty tough. I actually had a game where I had kept 2 surgicals and he fetched with Misty, and I wanted to know his hand.
Sure.
So I surgical Misty, and I actually snagged his second land out of his hand on his multi-5, and
that's gross.
And ended up winning that game.
That's
believe it or not.
Really gross.
Like, I just think the deck's just super hyper efficient.
It is.
And I don't like talking bans because I'm with you and Larry. I think that the cards should be unbanned before they're banned.
Yeah.
But they need to unban something because these the top decks are really defining themselves.
They are. All right, Scotty's taking a mulligan, which is not too surprising for Dredge. Very good deck at mulliganing. This deck can win on 3.
Hugely efficient.
Yeah. And Trevor.
I wonder if his deck's playing the adventure guy.
It is. Merchant of the Veil.
He opened out it last game.
Yep, we saw it last
Haggle's
game.
pretty hot.
It is. It's pretty cool. Trevor up a game here. Looks like he kept his 7. So we're just going to wait for Scotty to resolve his mulligan and see if this will be the last game of the night or if we will play one more game after this. If Scotty can fight back, if we can watch another Swish member go down a game and fight their way back for a victory.
Who did that?
You've done it.
Yeah.
Nate did it. And now we're going to see if Scotty can pull off the same feat.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty scared for Scotty here.
I agree.
I think these dredges, like we were talking, people aren't having a lot of graveyard hate, but I think decks are just better positioned against
endurance.
The problem is
the free spells, dude.
There goes the endurance.
The free spells, but also Omnath is like kind of hard for Dredge to keep up with all that stupid life gain. Omnath, like Dredge is not a deck that's going to deal you, 100 damage.
Ooh,
it's only
good rip off the top for Trevor.
Very.
Rip the sprawl.
Very. Now, Thoughtseize here is still pretty good, though. I'm taking that iteration 100%.
So Thoughtseize has already taken endurance.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, take the free spell, man.
That's definitely decent, because...
Yeah, taking endurance is good.
Otherwise, you could have just sat on that.
Yep.
All right, do we get to see a cathartic reunion here? It is.
Yep. Oh, baby,
and
we're
dredgers?
going off. Dredge 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a blood gas. 5. Blood gas is cool. Oh, 5 more. Oh, yeah. Look at all. Oh, my God. Oh.
Oh, did he have another? Oh, he's got a life. Okay.
Oh.
1,
2, 3. Oh,
okay.
bummer. We only get a free Helix, free 2 1/1s, and a free 3/3.
We only drew 13 cards.
Yeah. Oops. Hope you have Terminus. All right. Well,
I still think Trevor can
he can
recover from this position quite easily.
He can.
He does play mainboard Furies.
He does. And back to my prior point too about we were talking about how Omnath is kind of a problem for a deck like Dredge because Dredge has a finite amount of damage. Dredge is only going to do about maybe 50 to 60 damage in a game in a lot of games because they have obviously the chills, they have the conflags, and then they have to get you with creatures. So even a deck like Boggles can traditionally be kind of hard for Dredge because you just throw a Daybreak Cornet on an idiot, and then it starts to become a problem because you just gain so much life. Dredge is definitely not a deck that wants to see its opponent gain a ton of life. So Omnath being able to gain like 7 life a turn potentially can be very problematic very quickly.
Abundant Harvest on the mountain.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Assembling all the cards to blink.
Yes.
Looking for an endurance, probably.
Bang. Bang.
Okay.
Bang.
Okay, another chill's nice. Another chill's nice. Let's just free lightning helix again.
Worthy mentioned there is a blood gas in the yard.
There is, and that's going to be huge. Is this a life from the loam?
Cathartic, come on.
Loam. It's a loam. That's really good, though, because it's going to bring the
yeah.
gas back, which is going to bring the amalgam back, which is probably going to mean we're going to another game.
Check for 5 him to 9.
Yeah. Now, one thing I would have liked to see here from Scotty is instead of play that gemstone again, does he have a fetch? He does. He should have just played a fetch, because then, let's say Trevor has a supreme verdict here. We can end step fetch, get the blood gas back, and then get the amalgam back. Both the amalgams back, so even a sweeper like isn't going to protect Trevor if we play it that way. The way we did play it, potentially leaving some big damage behind.
Jim Dad flexing his muscles a little bit
Yeah,
too much.
Too much muscle flex. Throwing the camera off alignment.
Gosh.
This is a mess.
Technical foul.
A
Yeah, call the judge.
technical foul on Jim Dad Bush.
Technical foul, Jim Dad.
Oh, still haven't reached.
This is
Dan-
out of
Danny's
control.
fixing it. Danny's got this.
His muscles are so large that the
I'm
camera
gonna
just
go
can't.
help him.
The camera, yeah, we got to help him move his arms. Sometimes he struggles to do that on his own. Yep. Too much flexing from Jim Dad Bush. Okay. Trevor. The fetch. It's going to put him to 8. And if you're counting at home, folks, there is 8 power in play right now. So Trevor needs to do something here. Hardcast Fury wouldn't be too bad, I guess.
Only has 4 mana, right?
Oh, you're right. I got
Abundant
confused because the
Harvest.
Abundant Harvest. I was thinking it was a Sprawl. What's this? Teferi? Teferi Bounce?
Mana right now. This is iteration.
You're right. That's not very good. It's actually very bad.
After the land drop.
Yeah, very, very bad. Not where you want to be with an iteration at all. And I think we might be seeing another Game 3, folks. We've seen a lot of Game 3s tonight. It's been pretty good competitive Magic all around.
Hasn't scooped him up yet, though. Ooh, the bolt.
The Bolt, I mean, that's just...
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you want to talk about just buying time.
Well,
That's
he,
all.
he can't even cast it. So.
Oh, you're right. GG, baby. We're going to Game 3. Scotty Jim Dad Bush flexing those muscles all the way into Game 3. And yet another Swish member come back from down 0-1 tonight on stream. We are about to find out in this Game 3 coming up.
Thoughtseize, the critical card this match.
Thoughtseize was huge. Taking the Endurance was a big deal. Who do you think's favored in Game 3 here?
And the play seems pretty nice.
The play does seem really nice. I'm going to say Scotty is slightly favored, and the only reason I say that is because I just think Trevor is not going to have that much hate for Dredge. But, like you said, being on the play is going to be a huge deal, and Trevor should mulligan intelligently. And by intelligently, he should mulligan to something that does something quickly. You want that turn 1 Sprawl, or you'd want the hate pieces like Endurance for sure. If you don't have a hate piece or a turn 1 Sprawl to really accelerate you, your hand's probably not good enough, and you probably want to mull.
Yeah, a trap hand would be a hand that has maybe just a Fury, like
Yeah.
without an Ephemerate, like something that like just removes their first like.
Yeah, I
wave of
think like
treasures.
an example of a trap hand would be 3 lands, perfect mana, Teferi, Fury, Abundant, not the whatever the one is that doesn't Abundant
Har-
Growth. Is it Abundant Growth?
It's not Harvest. It's
Harvest is I think it's Growth. I think it's Abundant Growth. Harvest is the one that gets
And
a
a
land
lightning
or a
bolt.
Yeah, exactly. Just something really. Well, I'd be surprised if Bolt. I guess he showed us Bolt. I'm
did show
surprised
us Bolt.
Bolt's even still in the deck, to be honest with you. But
it's
sometimes when you're playing 80 cards, you just have to play some garbage in your deck still. Like I said, Trevor probably just doesn't have enough tools for Scotty. So Scotty's got an Ox over there. What else is he gonna have? Trevor thinking. Thinking. What is he going to do? Is he going to keep? Is he going to mull? Neither player is quite sure yet. I guess Scotty doesn't need to say anything
He
yet.
must be looking at that trap hand.
Yeah. Scotty's on a mull.
Keeps
Trevor
it, though.
kept. Trevor kept. So we're about to find out. Did Trevor keep an acceptable 7, or did he fall for a trap? We will learn soon. God, he's going to resolve some mulligans.
I'm gonna bet it's just like a regular hand, no endurance.
Yeah.
Maybe an Omnath.
Could be. And earlier I was saying how Trevor was the Enchantress player I played at the 2Ks. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, because initially I thought Trevor was on the other side with the yellow sleeves. And I'm pretty sure the guy that played, I just don't remember his name, obviously. Thought it might have been Trevor, but maybe it's not. I'm going to have to see after the match.
I can't help you there.
I know, yeah. Okay, the forest. Now here's where we want to see Utopia Sprawl. Big Utopia Sprawl moment. Hey, I like it. That's good. That's exactly the turn 1 you want to have here. Just jump out to 3 mana on turn 2. One of the best plays in Modern right now, I think, is turn 1 Utopia Sprawl.
All the removal running around. Utopia Sprawl is the only way to add mana on turn 1 that doesn't get killed.
It turns out Trevor was the guy that I played against on Enchantress, so very cool. I was right. For some reason, I thought he was playing with yellow sleeves earlier. I watched him finish like sleeving up after one of his matches earlier today. Okay, Thoughtseize. So Mr. Jim Dad, yet again, that critical Thougeize. Okay. Ooh, okay.
So we know why he was deliberating.
We do know why he was deliberating. I think it was an okay keep, though, because of the sprawl. This hand's going to get to see a lot of cards, and it's also just going to, like, right here, you can just put Yorion in your hand, and then next turn you can go Harvest, and the following turn you can go Yorion to draw more cards. So it's really not that bad of a hand. We'll see if Trevor goes for the Yorion here, just into hand. That's kind of where I think I'd go.
Being on the play, you kind of have time for all that, I would think.
Right.
Obviously, we don't know Scotty's second turn yet.
We don't. And it's really,
could be a lot.
It's just going to come down to luck of the dredge, man. I mean, how sweet are Scotty's dredges going to be? In game 1, they were fairly medium. He didn't get a ton of pressure, but in game 2, they were quite good. Plains. Okay. And it looks like he's just going to go for the abundant growths right now. I guess probably trying to find like Omnath or something. Yep. I respect this. He's probably trying to find like Endurance, Omnath, things like that. Just figures he won't have time for the Yorion play, which is reasonable. He can always put the Yorion in hand the next turn if he draws nothing. Okay. Huge turn for Scotty. We need to do something broken. Something busted needs to happen this turn.
5 permanents versus 1.
Yep. But we might see that change very shortly.
It's true. Land's a good start.
Very shortly. It sure is. Scotty, we want to see a cathartic. Let's go. Jim Dad Bush, show him what's up with the graveyard here. Okay. That's shock. So Fetch Shock Thoughtseize, or was it Shock Thoughtseize? It was Shock Thoughtseize into Fetch Shock, so he's at 13. Scotty's at 13, Trevor at 18. Scotty, here it is. Yep, is this going to resolve? Oh, baby. Ooh, Ray of Revelation.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting. That's going to blow up a Utopia Sprawl sometime soon. This is actually not a very good... Well, Ox was pretty gross. And then he draws 2 more. This was not a very good Cathartic at all. Very, very medium. Not explosive at all. Trevor's got a feeling after that turn. That was a very bad turn, too, from Scotty. Very unexciting.
We'll see if Trevor can punish him for the bad hand.
Yep.
For the bad turn, I mean.
Yep. Huge turn from Trevor. I'd love to see an Omnath here. Omnath would be nice. It's a very good Omnath turn.
I think Ray of Revelation is just going to sinkhole him next turn.
I think it probably is, yeah. It's probably just going to hit the Utopia Sprawl. Just send him back a mana. But I don't know for sure. I mean, Scotty's pretty close to being able to Ox, I guess. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's actually not that close to Ox yet. He's going to need another Cathartic or something.
Taking a draw here, not great.
Very bad, yeah. Having to take a normal draw is pretty weak. Is that an Eternal Witness? It is. Fury. Okay. And I think Trevor has an Ephemerate in his hand, actually, right now.
Did you run out your double striker? Probably not.
Nope. Nope. The Ephemerate is just going to infinitely, continually blink the E-Witness, right? Which is never-ending Ephemerates.
Yeah.
And then eventually it will hit a Fury, but we're just going to keep looping it with the E-Wit, keep making sure we hit our land drops, all that. Scotty needs some action, and he needs it right now. We are way too far behind.
The shock suggests something's going to happen.
Yep, something is definitely going to happen, and it needs to for Scotty. We got to do something now. Something good. We need some dredge action here. Is he reading Stomping Ground? Trevor, you know what Stomping Ground does.
Maybe it's a different land.
Stop playing around with us.
Not sure what else it could be.
I'm not either.
New art.
I'm sure Danny will let us know if it's not a Stomping Ground, but it looks a lot like a Stomping Ground to me. Okay, nice. All right, Stinkweed Imp getting pitched. Is this an...
Oh, he's flashing back Ox.
Flashing back the Ox.
Pink. Right.
I guess. This is pretty awkward if you can't leave dredgers in the yard, though. You got to be able to leave some dredgers here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kyle's the whole graveyard.
Dredge.
One dredger.
There's more dredge. A lot more dredge. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There's a creeping chill. Boom. Oh, two creeping chills. All right. Double lightning helix for free. There's a prize amalgam. And a conflagrate. So. Interesting little turn there. The Gym Dad rumbling for 1, putting Trevor to 11.
Creeping Chill's making him feel the heat a little bit.
A little bit. Down to 10 now. I feel like Trevor's in pretty good shape still, though. We'll see. The Ephemerate Ewit is going to be really annoying for Scotty to have to fight through. Right now, I mean, there is a loam, so the loam can start setting up a really big conflag, which is pretty sick.
Draws. What's he gonna do? Still think we just know about the
Ephemerate, and we know the Fury. The Fury as well.
He gets 3 cards.
Fury looks pretty good here. I mean, Fury just kills both. But killing the Ox is a little awkward.
Not ideal.
Maybe the play is just like Fury killed an Archamoeba and then like block the Ox with... Wow, he is going to kill the Ox. I don't know if I like that or not.
Kind of hard.
Probably.
Like, how do you kind of...
my
something
plan
goes wrong?
My plan for the Ox would have been just block it with Eternal Witness and then Ephemerate, but maybe he didn't have enough mana. I guess maybe he only had 5 mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he only had 5 mana here, so that wasn't an option yet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is pretty dangerous, though. Scotty can definitely do some nasty things with that Ox.
I mean, the 8 life is what scares me. 2 creeping chills in the deck and a conflagrate in the graveyard.
Yeah, the conflagrate in the yard, man, is really dangerous.
Just 2.
Yeah.
I mean, if he flipped them both and discarded his hand, I mean, that would be 8.
And he's getting loam back too, which is going to set up a big conflag in the near future.
Look like Trevor will get another turn though.
We've got other fellow teammate Larry Fields over here. How'd your evening finish up, Larry?
We had fun.
You had fun. That's good to hear.
I just died to Tron miserably.
That's fair.
Our models does not line up well. It was fun.
No, yeah, you.
I double soul deed and he Google logged and excelled them both.
Yeah.
You said earlier that there were a couple of matchups you didn't want to play against as elementals.
Yeah, Tron is definitely one.
Tron's the first one that came to my
Tron
mind.
is one of the decks I'd prefer
I don't know
to
what the
not play
others
against.
are, though.
The others are Dress Down Shadow. But the 3 Veil of Summers in my sideboard this weekend hopefully will help that matchup, is the idea. In addition to helping me against like Spreading Seas out of blue-white.
Hopefully no one's enough of a boomer to be playing Tron this
Oh,
weekend.
there will be. And hopefully if I run into him, I win the die roll. Oh, Chill and Double Amalgam and... Oh, baby. We hit Amoeba, please. We need a Narco Amoeba. That's not Amoeba. But... How he counting that deck? Trevor probably asked him how many cards he got. That's how he won game 1. Scotty died to decking in game 1. Here, yeah. Okay.
Hits weren't what he wanted.
No, they were pretty weak. The Chill was nice. I mean, putting Trevor to fuck. Yeah, I think he has 3. Do they?
But the first one gets seen, and then at the end of Trevor's turn is when the other two will come back.
I see. Okay.
If he remembers.
Okay.
Because Ox already came on when they came on the battlefield, triggered the first amalgam. Then the Oxes would dredge the other two.
Oh, I
And
see.
then once the amalgam comes back at the end, now the other 2 prize amalgams see those ones.
I see. Okay.
They're just a lot of triggers you got to remember. I miss those end of turn on my opponents a lot.
People would be accusing me of cheating because I'd just be trying to put them all in. I'd be like, oh, they're in my graveyard. Here they are.
Yeah.
This entered this turn. They all come back in, right?
That's why we need our Reg expert Larry to help us commentate this last game here.
Yep.
I can't believe he decked himself. That's such a rookie dredge mistake.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have been able to win the game anyway. He was like fighting against an Omnath that kept gaining a shit ton of life. So.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I have to play against Omnath too much, but I know it's a big problem.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because Dredge like is a finite damage deck. You only have so much damage.
Funny enough, Scotty's played 2 shenanigans inside where another rookie dredge mistake.
That's fair.
Card's so bad.
That is fair. Okay. Trevor, thinking about what he needs to do here. Does he know that those other 2 amalgams are going to come back? That's the real question. All right, iteration. We got to find something good here, Trevor. Got to be something good, man. What do we get?
Well, he has to know because you have to announce that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it triggers. You need to announce it. Once the amalgam comes in, a trigger goes on the stack.
I see. Oh, yeah, that's probably why they're separated.
It ain't like something that you can be low-key about. But it can still be missed here, though, if he doesn't remember, because an additional trigger goes on the stack at the end step.
Okay. Trevor really in the tank on this iteration.
Probably not Fury or Endurances if he's
I've been telling
thinking
people
this
all
long.
night that when I've been reviewing Kahira that I'm on dredge. Nobody believed me.
That's funny.
I'm going to come here in a couple weeks and I'm going to play Kahira dredge and get people.
That sounds really funny.
Oh, I won't have Ox. I won't have Prize Amalgam. I'm going to be living on Conflagrates and Creeping Chills to get me there.
We also can't play Stinkweed Imp, right?
Don't need it.
All right.
Card sucks.
Or Thug.
Card sucks too. Loam and
We can
Dark
play
Blast.
Loam. Yeah, we can play Loam. We can play Dark Blast. We
There's
can play the
probably
land. We can play the land.
There's
Darkmoor.
probably some bad dredge cards that we don't know about.
Maybe. Yeah.
Dredge 3.
Shenanigans.
I still won't play it.
Fair enough.
I'd rather play no dredgers.
Okay. Trevor puts 1 in hand. In the tank here. I mean, it makes sense. This is a do or die.
It's a tough situation.
This is a do or die turn. I mean, we're
You
at
get
5
down to
life.
that card count, you know the Creeping Chill is on the horizon of coming.
Mm-hmm.
The Conflagrate's still in the graveyard, correct?
Yes. And we know there's a Loam, too. So actually, yeah, Trevor is pretty screwed
We know
here.
Trevor has Ephemerate, right?
We do know that.
So we can kill some creatures at instant speed.
Creatures isn't the issue.
Yeah, the creatures
issue
are
is
part
the
of the issue, but the
Conflagrate.
Conflagrate is, yeah, just lethal at the moment if the Loam happens, I think. He needs an Endurance. He must hit an Endurance.
Any force of negation in this deck?
I think there is. I think they do play
That would
force.
be huge.
That'd be big, yeah. So technically could keep us in the game. The problem is, though, we're also getting swarmed by creatures. I mean, it's not just like... There are going to be 4 creatures for 2 blockers, and if 2 creatures get through, that's lethal. So he pretty much... okay. Exiling the Omnath.
I don't think I've ever exiled a far drop with iteration.
Yeah, pretty rare.
I've only played in Legacy Delver 2. We didn't have many 4 drops there.
Right? Trevor, really just... What can I do?
I'm right in the.
Oh, he's trying to hit an endurance or a force. This is good. I like this. This is a good play.
Endurance would be huge.
Yeah, this is a good play from Trevor. This is trying to find your out. I respect this. We got to find that endurance and put it in our hand. If we don't, the game's over. Force could maybe do it too, but okay. Ren 6 to exile. Did we hit the endurance? Did we hit the? And we need it. We must endurance here. Nope. I don't think Trevor's getting out of this one, folks. I think yet again.
He missed his triggers. Or no, I'm
Nope.
sorry. They were off the table, and
He's probably been talking about it the whole round.
Yeah.
Wait, so if they were already in play, why would endurance have helped? Just to get the
They weren't. The 3 of these just came into play. He like had them over here under the graveyard, kind of.
Trevor was looking to the graveyard, so they moved it to the side, and he probably was like,
Yeah.
"Alright,
just
these
dead on board to creatures, right?
What'd say?
Just dead on board. Just dead on board to creatures.
He's dead on board to creatures. He's also dead to the conflagrate, I believe. Scotty can do whatever he wants. And so, it would appear that yet again, Swish member comes back from down 1-0 to win a match. Larry also almost did it tonight. We almost had it happen every round.
tried out."
Yeah, that force was brutal in game 3.
That forcing the Utopia Sprawl. I could have extended the game, yeah. I talked to Andrew about it. That came from, I'm not very experienced with elementals. I didn't
Right.
see that line.
Well, you haven't been, I mean, you haven't even been playing Magic lately very much, so it's like, whatever, man.
But
No one really cared or faulted you for it, but Andrew and I were saying that, yeah, it would have been a little better.
I talked to him, and it made sense.
What are we thinking about?
I
in
have
this
no
match?
idea what Scotty is thinking about right now. Can we
Like-
please? I
like-
think Trevor's about to turn his card sideways
Yeah,
for him.
he's just hoping that Trevor just scoops him up out of boredom here.
What in the world, man?
Boredom.
Like, there's only so long you can know that you're dead and still sit there, you know?
This is ridiculous. Trevor is tapped out. He only has like 2 or 3 cards in hand. Like,
Conflagrates the creatures. Oops it up.
Scotty,
That seems unnecessary.
Scotty, Jim Dad Bush, just
That card goes face. I'm not. Maybe we should tell him.
yeah, I don't know. Whatever. You know, GG. Trevor played a good match.
They
You
say
know,
we're the slow ones.
I know, but yeah, you know, good match there from Scotty. 3-1, good finish on the night. Some cash for him. Trevor, Palmer, he lost, but he definitely played well. I mean, I really liked the ephemerate to get back the iteration to try and find an out. Didn't hit it, but he did everything he could to try and survive. Just wasn't there. Tough matchup, I think, for Trevor for sure.
Definitely tough.
All right, folks, that is going to be it for us this evening. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Monday Night Modern here at Galactic Toys and Games in Kentwood, Michigan. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time.